Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for yet another game of Super Rugby Pacific. This game should be absolutely brilliant because it is going to be the Crusaders versus the Reds. Quite the rival history between these two sides. And as Novmum's actually mentioned in the chat, if the Crusaders win this game, this is going to be a repeat match next week for the quarterfinal, which will be very interesting to see how that one goes. As the second part, we have got I live in Queensland, love the Reds, but I think they're going to get hammered, Chiefs, for the title, says William Law, saying g'day everyone. Says Law, welcome in everyone. I'm excited for this game. Actually, the lone game that we've got on the Friday night, which feels very strange. Normally we do have at least two matches, but this is the way that the table sits currently. The Crusaders, they are on 48 points. The Reds, they are sitting there on 35, but if they win this game, they can actually promote themselves up to fifth, which would mean as we currently sit, they more than likely would be taken on the Chiefs, unless, of course, tell you what, there's still a lot that can change till we get to the quarterfinals, and they are just around the corner. Next week will be when those ones are taking place. We have got the LA Hamish, says Max, welcome in, mate, and also morning all, says Gareth, hope you're doing well. Early morning start over there in South Africa for this matchup, but it should be a very entertaining one with these two sides throwing absolutely everything at it. George Bauer will be starting at number 1, Brody McAllister at 2, and then Ollie Jaeger there at 3. Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock, 2 who will definitely be in contention for making the All Blacks this year. They are going to be the locks for this game. Pablo Matera at number 6, someone who's not in contention for the All Blacks, but he should certainly be in Argentina's side. Ethan Blackett at 7, and then Cullen Grace at number 8. Then Bryn Hall will be there at number 9. Fergus Burke at 10, so no Richie Mo'unga for this matchup. David Arvili and Braden Inor will be the centres. Lester Whaiananuku, Sever Reese, and Will Jordan as the back three. We have got Go Crusaders Go. So here's a Reed Nichols there in the chat. Also, then looking through at the red side, Dane Zander, Matt Faisler, and Fiel Fortuaka are the front row. Siru Uru actually gets the opportunity at number 4, which will be interesting to see how this man goes at lock, as it is a rarity that we do get to see that man wearing either 4 or 5, and then 5 for this game. It will be Ryan Smith. Angus Scott Young at 6. At number 7, Fraser McWright, who's been playing very well recently. And then at number 8, Harry Wilson. Then they have got Tate McDermott. At number 9, no James O'Connor. At 10, instead it is Lawson Crichton. Does slot in there. Hamish Stewart, Jordan Pataia as the midfield. Then it will be Filippo Dalgunu, Suliasi Vunivalu, and also Jock Campbell as the back three for the Reds. We have also got that big love everyone. Says Sebastian, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Bryn Hall, bless his cotton socks. And there's Gareth and Go Reds. Let's go. Says Arlo there. And also we have got there Fikatoa in Tonga now. Says Max Scottle. And also 7:30, not 7:05. Wonder. That's wise, says Max. And there as well. Yeah, so they have decided to go with the slightly later kickoff for this match. And also we've got that trucking down under. I said, Hamish, how are you, mate? Doing very well. And my mum did mention to make sure that I do thank you for your generous donation when she was on the live stream last time. And I see a new picture of a truck, if I'm not wrong. Is that a different picture, trucking? Oversized, liking it. And I think it is, because that yellow looks different. And also we've got there, Let's Go Crusaders, says Obi, and also got 4 days of sleep and off YouTube, says Brandon there. And also, hi, Hamish, says Brandon, welcome in, mate. But Crusaders at the moment up against the Fijian draw last week. They scored 9 tries. They got 415 running meters, and they'll be looking to continue making plenty of them throughout this game. But the Reds, they could be considered as one of the bogey teams for the Crusaders and of the Australian sides. There's always going to be a tough battle. Ollie Jaeger is looking a little bit different. I think he's had a haircut, even though he already didn't have a lot of hair on the top of his head, looking more and more like Stone Cold Steve Austin every single day at the moment, Ollie Jaeger. And also same truck, different photo, or the same truck, same photo as well. Do let me know. But now we are almost ready to go for this match. 10 matches, 8 tries for Will Jordan. He has been playing pretty well for this season. He's got the most running meters out of any player. The Reds actually going to be wearing the kind of dark blue away kit for this match. I think this is one of the first times I've actually seen the Reds in their away kit for this season. And also we've got the Hey Hamish. We have got G'day All and same Laurie Better Light in there as well, says Sebastian. And tomorrow night at 9:45 going to be a good one, or the best game of the weekend. So that will be Blues versus Waratahs, I believe, if I'm not wrong there. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome game. Last 10 games between these two sides have actually gone the way of the Crusaders. And also hi to all you rugby fellow fans. I bet the team in the red shirts will win in there, as I says Kiwi. Well, you got very lucky because just a little bit of that red around the collar of the red. So I'm liking what you're thinking for this matchup. But now Harry Wilson, he is wearing the red headgear. He's made 122 tackles throughout Super Rugby Pacific, also scoring himself 4 tries and had 167 carries, which is pretty huge for one season. But that is after only about 13 games, as he did actually miss a couple due to a head knock. And he did get stretched off the field only a few weeks ago. So it's impressive that, let alone he's back, but he's also still picking up from where he left off. But it will be the Crusaders who will be kicking off this game for this matchup at OrangeTheory Stadium, a 7:35 p.m. kickoff rather than 7:05, the lone game of the Friday night. I forgot what day it is. There's a lot of rugby going on this weekend. And also, the Reds have a terrible record against the Crusaders, says Sebastian. They do. But it's the question of how much do they want it in this game. And also, if the Crusaders win the competition, will Bryn Hall get an AB consideration? It's a good question, because I know that currently they've probably got Smith, Petanata, and then it's that question of who's the third choice. Is it Christie? Is it now Whakatava with the fact that he is eligible? Or could it be Mitch Drummond, Bryn Hall, Sam Knock? There's so many young halfbacks and slightly older halfbacks that they will be going for a possible chance. But Siru gets that ball just outside of the 22 of the Reds. They have been well looked after there, the big forwards just driving over the top of the breakdown. And also, let's just hope the Reds play well, says David. Exactly right. You want every side to have a good game this week, because then it does mean that heading into the finals, it could be closer than ever for the competition. Sever Reese, I'm going to try and line up that one, but instead, Will Jordan is able to take it. My voice is not working, so today, I'm lucky at working today. And yesterday, no, Brandon, you say in bed because your voice not working. And as I says, Nazi Williams, somebody tell me in code where I can find a live stream, says Runner. I know that unfortunately I don't think there's too many options. There may be like an illegal free one somewhere, but I'm not too sure overall, unfortunately. I know that it's going to be on the highlights of Super Rugby's YouTube channel after the game, but yeah, I'm not too sure about otherwise, sorry. And also Christie deserves it, says David the Mod. And also Crusaders, let's show them boys who is boss, says Orlando. Currently early mistake. And now the Crusaders, they will not have the scrum feed here. Instead, the Reds, the away side, will get to put this ball in. Currently, it will be Tate McDermott, almost a mullet. It's a half mullet. Still got the back on it, though. And that is something that reminds me of Jack Goodyear. Code equals a bar. And now, where's the wagon? Says David the Mod. I'm sure he'll be here a little bit later on. And also, hi, David the Mod. I'm just having a quick hot chicken soup. Says Brandon there, but now Harry Wilson goes off to Tate McDermott. Filippo Dalgunu with his first carry of the match, and he could be one of the keys for the Reds heading into the quarterfinal. Like I mentioned, if the Reds lose this game, they will be taking on the Crusaders next week. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the repeat battle between these two sides go. David Harvey trying to get it, unable to do so though. Now Harry Wilson tries to sell the dummy, isn't able to go through, and the Reds, they'll just be looking to continue playing some good rugby up against New Zealand sides. They've been struggling a little bit, but they were able to get themselves a victory last week. And hi, buddy, enjoy. Says it was David the Mod. But now Tate McDermott rolling it back. And this one will be going up for the box kick. That was commitment from Scott Barrett. Just face planted the ground at OrangeTheory Stadium. Well, Jordan goes up and goes down, and he's taking it beautifully. And now the Crusaders have got this one 45 metres out. Now Mitch Drummond goes back to Ollie Jaeger. Pop pass up to Brody McAllister. Fergus Burke. He will be excited to get some more minutes, and he has been going pretty nicely. Speaking of Burke, he's got the ball now. Now Braden Enor sells the dummy. Good low tackle on him by Matt Faisler. Still hanging on to it. The Crusaders on the halfway line. Pop pass up to George Bauer. Just watch OB series. Not impressed, just saying. And also, I hope the mullet went with the 80s. And I have a question for you, Hamish. What is 244? That's a line break for Leicester Fainanuku. Now Pablo Matera back in the speed. The big Crusader. He's juggled it, but the question is, did he manage to get it down before a couple juggles in a row for Pablo Matera? They are saying he's lost it. Could be a knock-on, but they will just make sure that is the case. He doesn't look too impressed, though, Pablo Matera. I think he was more disappointed that he dropped the ball in the first place. It's a goal line dropout for being held up. Interesting. Okay, so it will be goal line dropout for the Reds. And it looks like... Okay, I think they just said because it was a knock-on over the try line, it does mean that it becomes the goal line dropout. And also we've got the Let's Go Crusaders, says Dyson West. And they're now getting ready to go for the goal line dropout. It looks like it's in the hands of Lawson Crichton here. And also we've got the public material. Material looks like a war criminal, says Gareth. He's got an impressive mustache at the moment. I'm joining your YouTube channel, says Brandon there. And also straight up, did Quigon appear? Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Now up to the halfway line. In fact, over at Cullen Grace does run. Okay, one of the Reds players is down flat on his back, and that does not look too flashed. And I believe it will be the end of his night now. It's the drawing pass. Reese down the wing. Just manages to keep himself in the field of play. And I don't think the Reds will mind just putting this ball into touch, because currently it is a penalty to the Reds. Right, that player in the background definitely needs some attention, as it did not look too good for him. And also in flashback, he did. Can't possibly get it wrong when you get Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen together. Okay, I believe that is... I want to say that's Dane Zander, but it could be Matt Faisler. It's one of the two. He's upside... Well, he's not really upside down. He's just sideways, so it's hard to tell. At the moment, also, is it Liam Neeson? And there, as I says, Gareth. What happens here? Cullen Grace runs it hard. Okay, it was actually... Yeah, unfortunately, Matt Faisler. He has got the head in the wrong spot. He's caught the hip bone of Cullen Grace, and he's gone down, knocked unconscious. And I believe he actually almost got landed on by Harry Wilson, which doesn't look too good for him. And only 6 episodes, I believe. There's but this will be plenty of time just to make sure that he is going to be all right, Matt Faisler. But more than likely, I think he will have to be at least replaced for an HIA after being flat on his back. And yeah, mate, says David the Mod there. But the replacement, I believe it will be Richie Isiata, who might have to make his way out onto the field. But only 4 minutes into this game. And also they are saying that there was a Crusaders late change. Bryn Hall was replaced by Mitch Drummond in that starting lineup. Okay. Injured in the warm-up is what they have just said. So that is why Mitch Drummond is in the starting lineup. And I would assume that their third option would be Taitaro Tahuriarangi to be coming off the bench instead. But this is the way that the table sits currently, ladies and gentlemen. And what streamer is it on, says Gareth. I believe it's Disney Plus for the Star Wars one, maybe, if I'm not wrong. And also we have got there, I'm live tomorrow. Are you free tomorrow in the afternoon? And also we've got the sorry buddy, says David the Mod. And also I'm watching from Australia on Stan Sport, says Dyson West there. And there are certainly going to be some awesome games of rugby, including the game tomorrow that has taken place. That will be Fiji and Drua up against the Chiefs. But that is not the only game of the Saturday. We've got that game that I just mentioned, Moana Pacifica versus the Brumbies. The game after that will be the Blues versus Waratahs. And then if that wasn't enough, having 3 games of rugby in a row, we got a 4th. And that will be the game between the Western Force and the Hurricanes. And if the Western Force win that, for just as it sits, they will actually bump the Highlanders out of the top 8. And then the Highlanders on Sunday will have to beat the Rebels to be able to get themselves back in there in SS Disney. And as I says, Gareth, and also no worries at all, lads. I haven't seen it yet. And Sebastian there as well. And also what time says David the Mod. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all those results go. There's a slight little part of me, and I know that any Hurricane supporters will not be happy with this statement. There's a little tiny part of me that wants to see the Western Force win, just because then at least that puts more pressure on the Highlanders to be able to perform. And they certainly want a big performance before their quarterfinal, because they're going to be taking on the Blues. So that's not going to be an easy game, and they need to make sure that they're in form heading into that game. And the best way to do so will be putting plenty of points over the Rebels. But it looks like this game is about to get back underway, ladies and gentlemen. Lawson Crichton kicks it into touch. But unfortunately, there will be no more of Matt Faisler for the day, I don't believe. Even though he may have gotten back up to his feet, I think for one, he's going to fail his HIA. And then the second part is you don't really want to risk him just before the finals. Now, Fraser McWright goes off to Harry Wilson. Does hit it up. And those two have been a phenomenal combo. That's going to be in the hands now of the new man. In fact, it was Fiel Fotuweka. I think Matt Faisler, he will definitely be missing next week anyway. It's whether or not he's back for the semi-final if they get them through. And you're lucky the wagon didn't hear that, Hamish. Says David the Mod. That is very true. Of course, we've got a few Hurricane supporters. As long as the Chiefs win tomorrow, they've secured a home quarter final. Says Nov Mum there as well. So, yeah, pretty much every game has something on the line in terms of who qualifies where, which is awesome. Rather than it just being a one-horse race. It's kicked him behind from Fergus Burke straight to Lawson Crichton. And now he will be kicking it right downfield, but he doesn't find touch. So now there's a bit of space for David Arvili. We know how big his boot is, but instead he's gone the long sling out pass off to Will Jordan. Tries to pierce his way through, gets back up to his feet, goes again offload to Brodie McAllister, now flicks it up to Mitch Drummond. George Bauer off to Barrett, it's a loose ball, Cullen Gray slips, but Sevu Reece has been able to clean it up. Filippo Dalgunu's on his case, but he's missed him. And now Reece goes off to Brodie McAllister. This is just pretty much one-touch pass at the moment from the Crusaders. Kicked him high from Braden Enor, but it sits up for Suliasi Vunivalu. Does find the offload to Hamish Stewart, and he kicks it downfield. Right. Oh, Sevu Reece looks injured on the halfway line at the moment. He does not look good at all. Oh, he's got back up, and he's almost just been sconed with the ball, even though he just got up there. I was probably lucky that him and also the coach didn't get sconed with it. But that's been kicked down the middle of the field. This game's going quite quickly at the moment. Imagine an Ewok being one of Vader's Inquisitors. And there's, that one has gone into touch. Right, what happened to Sevu Reece? Because he was down on the halfway line. My bet is the log are being exactly the same after this weekend, says Gareth there. And also, what happens to Sevu? He runs sideways, he passes, and then he falls into Ryan Smith's shoulder. So I believe that is why he was down for a little bit of time. But now Richie Isiata, nice throw to the front to Siru Uru, slotting in that lock for this game. Fraser McWright goes back now. Lawson Crichton, nice inside ball to Filippo Dalgunu. 40 metres out from the line now for the Reds. Pass it back across. It's going to be Siru Uru once again with the pop pass up. But both of these sides seem pretty evenly matched for the early stages of this match now. Jordan Pattaya in the midfield. He's got the knees down. They do have to release him. And okay, buddy, I see where I am, matey. And also Crusaders game starts. Conversion or conversation about Star Wars, says Gareth. I feel like that's exactly what these live streams are, though. Like the randomest things come up and then they just become kind of that topic of the live stream. That's a big kick, and it's a bigger than he would have liked kick. Has gone into the in-goal area. Now Jock Gamble decides to go for a run downfield and does manage to get it into touch. But now the Crusaders about 20 metres out from the line. They will be able to have themselves the line out. We have us okay, I'll try my best to get my green screen ready for you, just for you. And there's says Brandon. And also we have got there in the chat, I'm hoping to get a Scythe Ewok in there. A moment. But I am always disappointed, says Obi. But now it is going to be one ready to go. Brodie McAllister got the line out through here. I guess you could say the only number 2 on the field now due to Matt Faisler going off. Crusaders, they've gone short. Goes to Scott Barrett. And it will be the rolling maul. This is somewhere where the Crusaders love to make the extra meters. And it looks like they're going to start to creep forward. Brodie McAllister at the back. They wouldn't mind a maybe penalty advantage here soon, the Crusaders. And it has gone down now. Mitch Drummond goes off to David Arvili. Went for the kick in behind. It hasn't worked, but it was a little knock on from the Reds. And also they got a rugby back, gentlemen. Crusaders by 21, says Mark there. And also we have got there not impossible. They may be little and cute, but remember they were going to Cook Solo's away team, says David. And also hello, says Bloxy. Welcome in, mate. I hope you are doing well. Right. Sevu Reece is getting taken off for an HIA due to George Bridge. And unfortunately for Sevu Reece, the thing is, I think initially when Sevu Reece went down, he knew he got some heavy contact. And I think possibly stayed down a little bit longer just to make sure that they did end up noticing it, if that makes sense. He did get a little bit rocked, but then he did kind of stay on his back with the hands up in the air, kind of going, what about that one? So now he has to go off the field because of it, and he doesn't like it, Sevu Reece, but that's the risk that you take by staying down a little bit longer. And sorry, Gareth, back to rugby then. How's George Bridge still a rugby player? He's just made his way out onto the field, so that is a good question. And we will have to wait and see how he goes. I think the bigger question is, will George Bridge be an All Black? Sevu Reece, he's looking disappointed with having to go off the field, like I mentioned. And I think Justin Marshall now has actually just mentioned about the fact that he was milking it. So because of that, he did actually get himself sent off the field for the HIA. And also our members on my YouTube channel, says Brandon there, going short side. Will Jordan now with the step, only 5 meters out from the line now for the Crusaders. Pablo Matera considered going for it. Now it's a short ball. Scott Barrett's knocked it on. And now Tate McDermott trying to snipe down the blind side. He was in touch though. And also with John King, I was talking the biggest nonsense most in there as well. Says Gareth. And also we have got there, I think George will score a try, says Novmum. And I mean, he's got plenty of time now. It was nicely done by Will Jordan. Like they're saying, they had plenty of options. He went to Scott Barrett, and it was just not the best pass. Unfortunately, a lot of pressure on Lawson Crichton, and the Oscar goes to, says Lord, for that one. But yeah, like they were saying, it's kind of like it's backfired a little bit because he decided that he wanted to stay down a little bit longer. I can understand why. And also, can you please tell Justin Marshall to be quiet? Justin Marshall to be quiet. This is David. And also, we've got that Bridge will never be an All Black again unless Foster is coach. And it does seem like he is locked into after the World Cup, isn't he? If George Bridge gets selected to the ABs, I'll sprint knob first into the corner of my table. Geez, that would hurt. I would not want to do that, Sebastian. So let's hope he misses it. Now George Bridge gets the ball, finds the offload to Will Jordan. Going down the wing, but he has been shut down relatively quickly. They're trying to turn that one over. And also, can you read my messages? Brandon, I have been trying to at this stage, but it's going very quick. Now Fergus Burke runs a hard, steps on the inside. And Fergus Burke scores the first try of the match. And that man has definitely got himself a spot on the bench for the final. But it's the question of whether or not he is going to be starting with Richie Mo'unga maybe coming off the bench for the quarterfinals. But nicely done by Fergus Burke. We will go like this and like this. Fergus Burke scores a try in the 10th minute. And like they're saying, it's a big push from the Crusaders. Then from there, Fergus Burke, he was initially involved in the wide ball out to George Bridge. The pass of Harvili, but then they did go right across to the left-hand side. And also we've got their PS Crusaders by 28. That's 20 out of 23. And that's why, wait, Crusaders by 28? Or Crusaders by 21, like you mentioned before, Mark Blue? Has it changed due to the try being scored? And Foster is that Aussie beer. And there's this Spider-Man and also nice says NZ guy. And hello, says Betty. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And what is your prediction for this game? I did say Crusaders by 19 in my preview. So I will stick with that for now. But it's interesting. The Reds, for that first few moments, did look decent. But it's that big question of whether or not they will be able to keep up with that pressure of the Crusaders. And exactly, Obi will be a hard on as well. Important to mention. Says it was Sebastian, and also we have got a Hey Betty and Hi Betty. And also Fergus Burke should start. Him and Bryn are connecting well. Says Gareth there. And yeah, we'll be interested to see whether or not Bryn Hall will be playing next week because they did mention how he got injured in the warm-up, hence why Drummond is starting for this game. So hopefully he's all right to keep on going. And great Betty says NZ guy and Yahoo Saders says Lord, and also how's everyone? Says Betty, very excited for the weekend of rugby. We've got 4 games back-to-back tomorrow, and then also a Champions Cup fixture a little bit later on with La Rochelle taking on Leinster. And like the Reds, my fourth ex-wife looks great in the first, or look great the first few minutes. And as I says, Mark, that one's gone into touch from Mitch Drummond. Didn't get a huge amount of distance on it, so now about 30 metres out, it will be the Reds who have got themselves the line out. Didn't want to do too much. Yawning today, I'm not so good. There's Petty there as well. Is that the knee playing up, Petty, or is it something else? Do let me know. It's going to be taken nicely at the front by Cullen Grace. The Crusaders have got this one back in line-out time. Trying to roll out of the way. I think that was Angus Scott Young pretending he was a plank of wood and somehow managed to just stay flat and low enough that they weren't going to give him a penalty against them. And hey, Betty, what's wrong? There's Gareth there. That's going to be kicked downfield now from Fergus Burke. Gets plenty of height on it and taken nicely by Filippo Dalgunu, who drops to a knee and also slips a little bit. And there was actually a game of rugby earlier on with Christchurch boys in the first 15. And I think that is possibly why there is a little bit of slipperiness and also a little bit of the scuffles on the pitch while we are looking at it from where the scrums and everything took place. And also it's my arm just above the elbow. And the outside, and also we have got there, did you watch Obi too? And also Mark, what my fourth ex-wife means, I'm from Africa. Says it was Orlando. And also we've got there, I need Reds plus 9.5 first half. And there says Downs or Townies. So we'll have to, or is that Townies actually now that I look at it? So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that is the case. But it looks like Pablo Matera trying to roll out of the way. He's done nicely there. McDermott now goes across to Harry Wilson. It's wrestled down by Sam Whitelock and Fergus Burke. Crusaders' best option in the future. Says for by grade low tackle made there by Braden Enor. A lot of pressure there on Lawson Crichton. And now it's a clean turnover for the Crusaders. Mitch Drummond on the halfway line. Looked like he was going to be kicking. Instead, goes off to Whitelock. Barrett now. Got Will Jordan on the outside. No, in fact, it's George Bridge flying down the wing. And also Kiwi lads, when are the All Blacks playing? They have got their first matchup about mid-July, I believe it is. Or just a little bit earlier than mid-July, actually. That's going to be behind. Nicely picked up by George Bauer. Now moving up to 20 metres out. Now off into the hands of Mitch Drummond. Short ball. Will Jordan goes in. And he will score another try. I'm guessing the Crusaders will win. And I love that we have many. I have as many women like only one marry one. And there as well says Orlando, and also we've got the speedy recovery, Betty. And there, but one moment we will go like this, and we will add Will Jordan to the try scorers list now. And like they're saying, right place, right time. That is pretty much Will Jordan in a nutshell. Like if he ever writes an autobiography, it is going to be called Right Place, Right Time, or something along those lines. Or it's probably going to be called 100 tries, to be honest, because he's heading that way at the moment for Will Jordan. But very nicely done by the Crusaders. That is their second try up against the Reds. And like I mentioned, if the Crusaders win this game, they will take on the Reds next week as well. And great D Saders in there. And also we've got the thank you, says Betty Wagon. And also don't blame you. And there says Obi. Or sorry, says David. And please don't Obi. I'm planning on watching it this weekend. And there says Sebastian. Now it is going to be kicked down the middle of the field. Or down the middle of the post, I should say. And all the best for the recovery, Betty Wagon. And there says Ollie. That will now make the score 14-0 in favour of the Crusaders. Pretty good start, 15 minutes into this game. Now Will Jordan, top try scorers for Super Rugby Pacific. He is right up there sitting on 9, only ahead of him. Lester Faina Nuku, his teammate. And I was like, well, Jordan, well done, says Lord. But yeah, he just keeps on scoring. I see that Sever Reese has not returned to the field as of yet. Same with Matt Faisler. But I assume Sever Reese won't be too far off. It will just be making sure that he is all right to continue. I have to go. And there's winner of the Chiefs playing, says Ollie, they have got the first game tomorrow. That will be at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And it will be the matchup up against the Fijian draw. And also we have got the, I don't know what's happened, but it feels like the muscle, says Betty Wagon. And also Crusaders never run out of a good number 10. And also if they have the best fly half trainer in New Zealand, that one's gone down. But Will Jordan now finding the offload to Mitch Drummond. And it seems like the Crusaders are really up in the tempo now, trying to keep the Reds on the back foot. David Arvelli goes for the kick in behind, but it goes straight to Lawson Crichton. And now he looks for the 50-22. It's a decent boot from Lawson Crichton. It's a 50-22. Great kick from the Reds. And nicely done by Lawson Crichton. And also there is it John. And there's us, says Gareth. And I was like, hi, John. Says David the Mod. Well, that one, but currently now it's kicked in behind nicely by Lawson Crichton. It was always just heading slowly towards the touchline and eventually did make it over. And also Crusaders have the best systems. And as I says, Mark, that one's going to be a knock-on, though, by the Crusaders. And now the scrum feed will go the way of the Reds. But that is twice now at scrum time, or at line-out time, in fact, that it's been stolen. And like they're saying, due to losing their hooker early, it does mean that it takes a little bit longer to re-adapt to. I see a man warming up in the background. I think it was Kalani Thomas, although I think he's quite a long way off and a bit fishy. And there, as I says, David, although the reason I can tell you that it's not, I was going to say, was because the use of capitals in the name. And that's probably the best way of indicating whether or not it is him, because he just didn't know what capitals were at all. Like whether it was messages or name, there were none. So I think that is one thing to watch out for. But now currently the scrum at the moment, scrum's 10th or 10, and they've scored no tries off scrums, which is not what they want. At the moment now, Tate McDermott. Oh, it's going straight down on the front row, and there will be a reset. And also another account was created in 2011. John wasn't even born back then. So Sebastian, and also we have Hope Quintapaya gets into the All Blacks with Anton Leonard-Brown. I think Leonard-Brown's got an injury currently, so I don't believe he's actually going to be available for selection this year, although I do see Brodie Retallick returning, another one of the Chiefs players who have had a little bit of a problem with injury. And also Lowell, says Betty. And also we have the surname is legit from this side of the world, says Gareth there. Now currently still inside of the 22, McDermott, McWright, and Wilson. Those three, I think, are going to be a very, very important combo. And okay, my apologies, says David there. I like the fact that you are being alert, though, David, for when we find him, because we know that he's got another account lurking. And it's just a matter of when he decides to do it. Hamish, can you please do commentary for IPL final? It's a request. And as well says Coding, do you know what day it's on, Coding? Because it will probably depend on what else is on at the same time. I'm paranoid, says David. It's probably a good thing to be, I guess, always looking out for him, because he's going to be around somewhere throughout the week. You know, I think probably the Chiefs live stream now that I think about it, because that is his side he does go for. But now McDermott going short side off to Fraser McWright. Does take in the run. And also Izzy Folau, Piatel and Malachi Fikatoa. I know it's going to be representing Akele Tahi Tonga. And there says Johnny Long and Strong. So, yeah, it will be pretty awesome to see those guys in action. And also, we've got there. Hi, Hamish. Really enjoying your channel. Thanks for all the efforts. Keep up the great work. Crusaders Champions 2022, says the Flying Pan Man. in there. As I do appreciate you, mate. And we have got plenty more coming. We're doing all of the quarterfinals, all of the semi-finals, and also the big one, the final, could be taking place anywhere around the country at this point in time, unless, of course, maybe the Brumbies get themselves a home one. And who scored the try? Says Jackson. At this stage, we have the try from Will Jordan, and also the try was scored by Fergus Burke. That was in the 10th minute, and also the 15th. The final date is the 28th of May, 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time. 28th of May. That's tomorrow, isn't it? Okay, I'll see how it's going, but I think we've probably got a Champions Cup live stream at the same time, or somewhere around there, and we will smell them. And Johnny, or we will smell him, and also Big Johnny is here. And also Johnny, says David, and also I hope he makes an appearance, says Gareth. That one as well. But currently the Reds, they need to try and find themselves a successful line-out. It's actually quite a few in a row that have gone astray for them. And they've scored 13 tries off their line-outs. To the front there, Richie Isiata, they tried something different. It's been put down, though, with the scrum feed now going the way of the Crusaders. So the last thing that they wanted for that one, and also thanks, brother. Says Jason, no worries at all. And also, if it smells like a fish, we will know. And Sebastian, my bro, hey, David and Petty, says Johnny Long and Strong. But it was a nice set play from the Reds, but unfortunately, just that ball going down in the front row. Well, not in the front row, sorry, at the front of the line-out did mean that once again it is a line-out mistake for the Reds. So I believe that's 0 from 3 that they've got right, which isn't what you want in the early stages. But currently 21 minutes down between these two sides, 14-0 for the Crusaders here. At the moment, they are talking to Tamati Ellison. I believe we get to see Tamaiti Williams come on the bench. And hey, Johnny, says Petty. And I'll just have a quick check to see when the IPL does take place New Zealand time. It is going to be 2 a.m. on Monday morning. It might not be a terrible overlap coding, maybe, depending on how it goes. But that will depend on the sevens as well, whether or not we have got that going on. At the same time, it's going to be a good tackle made. The Crusaders just outside of their own 22 now. And also Burke carrying the team right now, says AC has been looking extremely strong in the early stages of this match. And I'm hoping he does get himself a starting position in the quarterfinal. Like, if he's played this well up against the Reds, surely you give him another crack and see how he goes. And also, so what's the quarterfinals looking like, bro? Says Johnny Long and Strong. So I will put up the table the way that it is sitting currently. One moment. We will go like this. And also we have got... There we go. So that is the way that it is sitting currently. If the Crusaders win this game, they will be taking on the Reds. In their next game, there's going to be a kicking behind by Jordan Bataya. And it does slide into the hands of Mitch Drummond, who's just been able to hang on to this one. And it's a penalty to the Reds. Looks like McDermott wants to take the quick tap. He does so. And now driving at the line, going low. Take McDermott just short. Crusaders jumping in. And I believe Sam Whitelock's been able to turn it over. That is that veteran experience. Gives it off to Lester Fainanuku. And Tay McDermott, he'll be brutally disappointed with the way that that has gone, because now the Crusaders are going to be able to clear their lines after a couple more phases. And my dog stepped on a bee. And there's says Johnny Long and Strong. And also we can let you, brother. Can you commentate the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial? Is that still going? I thought they were almost finished with it. It's been going like 20 days or something, hasn't it? Something around there. I feel like that is a lot of time in court, isn't it? I don't think I'll ever spend any time in court unless it's possibly doing jury duty. Other than that, I'd like to think that I'll avoid it. And also, Johnny, that chick is crazy, says Gareth Ferguson. And also, we have I just went for a piece, says Obi, and also Blues at home. And the Reds will themselves, as they will return to face the Crusaders again. Another hammering, says Orlando there. And also, I'm a busy bee, and I got places to be, as well, says Sebastian. There are a lot of bee puns coming in now, isn't there? Or a little bit of rhyming in the early stages. Filippo Dalgunu now got this one, gives it off to Suliasi Vunivalu. In fact, it's back to Dalgunu, moves up to 40 meters out. But that was brilliant work from Sam Whitelock, just out edge of my legs. And my dog gave me a flea. And hey, mate, how's it going? Says Jacob, doing very well, mate. Hope you are excited for the weekend of rugby that we have got coming up. The alone game of the Friday night, but we've got 4 games tomorrow and also a Champions Cup fixture. And this is buzzing. And who's Crusaders backline coach says for bye. And there as well. Is it Tamati Ellison, or is he different side of things? I know that they've got, was it Ryan as their scrum coach? Is the backline, is it Tamati Ellison? Maybe. Not sure. And also we have got there, when I got out on the town, I love snorting E, says Johnny Long and Strong. And also, we were there. I just committed perjury. And then also, who do you think will win Super Rugby 2022? I think it's between, for me at the moment, the Blues and the Crusaders. It's been on 6 weeks, Hamish, says Gareth. That's a long time, isn't it? Is it like coming to an end anytime soon, or is it still getting decided type thing? And Reds by 20 says, that's an interesting name, Daddy Fat Sacks. It's a nice one. But I don't think the Reds are going to win by 20. The Crusaders might win by 20 plus, and also I want to be trained by their fly halves coach says for bye, and also beat the Blues at home. And then also Gareth Burrow says Johnny Long and Strong. And also when my baby walking down the street, I see red, I see red, I see red. Says Spotovic, but now it is going to be a shot at goal for the Reds as they look to try and get themselves their first points on the board. And also we've got their happy face from the chat. And also Reds by 35. And also it will be our number 7 for the All Blacks. Says Joshua, it's a tricky one because you've got Dalton Papali'i, you've got Sam Cane, Ethan Blackadder could go there as well. Then you've got the likes of maybe a youngster like Billy Harmon gets to move into the scene. They could maybe, they've got plenty of options for it. And Hospital Pass, and there's also, hi, Amish, I'm back. Says Brandon, welcome back, mate. But 25 minutes through this game now, lining up the kick. Lawson Crichton does get it over, and that will make the score now 14 points to 3. And Dalton all day, says Max got on also Dalton, and they're from Johnny Long and Strong. So, yeah, it's probably my first choice is Dalton. It's who they go as the second choice. And for me, you probably go Ethan Blackadder or Tom Christie for 7 or the sub. Yeah, I'd love to see Tom Christie in there as well. But yeah, whoever you have, I think they've got to be able to cover 6, 7, and 8, or at least 2 of those positions, which is why someone like an Ethan Blackadder or anyone along those lines is such a valuable asset to have coming off the bench, because that means no matter who's injured, you pretty much go, right, who's looking the worst, we'll take him off and put Ethan Blackadder on, who's going to give you 110% till the end of the match. And also Rugby Sevens. And your last day today, says Gareth there now, it's going to be Tate McDermott. Let's try and go around. Hasn't quite worked out for him, though, and has been dragged down. But the Reds have got themselves their first points of the board. And also we have got their Satutu. And there, so yes, Satutu could be an option, although I think currently he's more of a number 8, isn't he? Blues will destroy the Waratahs. Says James Crude. I do actually see that they're underdogs going into that game due to the selection they've gone with. They've got no Bowden Barrett, no Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, no Caleb Clark, no Rieko Ioane, no Dalton Papali'i, no Hoskins Satutu. The list goes on of players that they've decided to take out there. That's going to be knocked on. I think also no Ofa Toangafasi, no Kurt Eklund in that match. Is 2 other players that they have decided to leave out. And also Blackadder looks like a lightweight. Francis Lowe, and there, or Francois Lowe, can pull off, that's all move, can pull off 6, 7, and 8. And AB trio, Blackadder, Kera, and Savia. And then as Dalton playing this weekend, he is missing for that matchup. And also Sam Whitelock for number 13 or 12, and Blackadder, the new Richie McCaw. And also, where do we get to watch, or do we get to watch from Violent Beasts? Unfortunately not. But you can see it on Sanzar.tv, and also depending on what country you're in, will depend on whereabouts you can watch it. And yes, same is true there. And also Blues will beat the Waratahs by 8. Oh God, I thought this was the actual quarterfinal, but it's actually the last round of the regular season, says Sebastian there. And I know Crusaders leading. I took them yesterday to win title, $2.50, says Brent there. And also Hamish, who's going to take the Blues on a date? I mean, it's a tricky question, but I believe it's going to be a home date for them no matter what it is. I'm a big fan of Blackadder, big engine, and now Suliasi Vonevalu. Oh no, he's tried to go for the kick, and I think he's just knocked it on. Yes, he has, and now yellow card, says Gareth there. Going to be a step from Will Jordan. Passes off to David Arveli. Now Barrett passes off to Cullen Grace. Great low tackle on him by Ryan Smith, and that looked like a clean turnover. No, it's not. It's going to be the penalty, and they bro when Tonga's playing, next playing Israel Folau named to play for them. And there says it was Xavier, and also we have got there, do we get to watch? As I said, betting, and also yellow card, and also, but do we get to watch? Scarif. But not supporting the body weight. A little bit disappointing for them. I think that was the cat making noise, if I'm not wrong. No, it's not the cat. I think it's the fire. And also we have got there, no, you don't. There's says David the Mod. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how those 3 go for the Tongans, because I believe, when did they announce it? It's actually only very recently, so we'll probably end up bringing out a video after this matchup for the Tongan squad. And also we have got there, so do we get to watch it? I'll say, yeah, bro, I've been here for a year and still no show games, says Sebastian. That's going to be not straight from Brodie McAllister. And now it does become the feed for the Reds. And also, when is Tonga next playing? Is he Folau in the back? That's a good question. I'm not too sure when they'll end up giving it. Also, so please let me get the best live commentary. And there's Brandon, but the offloads currently, the Crusaders have made 8 compared to the 4 we have seen from the Reds. So they're trying to keep this ball alive as quickly as possible. Turnovers conceded, though, pretty even, 8 and 9, which is actually a lot more than you'd expect. Handling error 6 for the Crusaders, 4 for the Reds. And we've only been going for 30 minutes in this first fixture and the only fixture of Friday night. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back for all of the quarterfinal matches. And Tonga's going to have a strong team for the World Cup. They certainly are. Definitely if they do have those 3 men added in the mix. As I'm actually going to have a quick look and see if they have got their squad anywhere. Do they have their squad on? Oh, there it is. Match day Tonga versus Romania. Okay, this is a very old one because that is from 2021. So we have to have a look and see who else has made it. I hope that some of those guys who were on the side up against Samoa and the Cook Islands do get in. I have this hunch that once his timeout expires, I will get to hide him, says Sebastian. And also, Tonga's going to have a strong team for the World Cup. And now it's running forward. David Arveli looks for the offload. It looked relatively forward, but it's going to be a knock on anyway. Now Angus Scott Young finds the offload. Backline movement looking like it's opening up for the Reds. I see that Sever Reece is actually still off the field now. Filippo Dalgunu close to the touchline, stays just in the field of play, but Braden Enor has been able to get it. The knee has gone down. Drop kick is really a knock on. Don't make sense in there. And also Adam Coleman is playing for Tonga. And there's also every round on Abraham House the week been. Reckon the table will change at all after this round. I think we'll see a couple little changes overall, but nothing too major. It seems like for now, it is going to still be, well, it has to be the Blues at first. They have got enough of a lead. And then I'd say Crusaders still get themselves second. Oh, it's a mark taken. Bit of a late tackle from Lester Whainā-Nuku. Oh, Lester Whainā-Nuku not too happy there. And he's getting ganged up on by the Reds players by the looks of it. And also we've got their rugby from 3 p.m. tomorrow and around 2 a.m. Sunday. Says Novmum there. Exactly right. And it's going to be a very hectic day. And then after that, we've actually got the Champions Cup game between La Rochelle and Leinster. And are you calling the Mighty Queenslanders versus the lying, cheating New South Wales State of Origin? And there, as says Joshua, I hope we can do the State of Origin. When is that happening, Joshua? I think it's still about a month and a bit away, isn't it? Hey, about how are you going? Says Dale, doing very well, thank you, mate. And also we have got there coming Crusaders, says James Crude. And also hi, everyone, says William. And there, I hope you guys are all excited for the week ahead that we've got. We haven't just got Super Rugby. We haven't got just the Champions Cup. We have also got alongside that the matchups taking place of the 7s that we can squeeze in. It's going to be kicked downfield. George Bridge chasing after it. It's going to be taken nicely by Jock Campbell. A lot of pressure on him by Will Jordan, though. And now the counter ruck coming from the Crusaders. Pablo Matera's got it back. The wide sling and pass. It's worked out nicely for David Arveli, who's tackled now by Jordan Batai. And also William with the thumbs up from Sebastian there. And the Pacific Tests are beginning to be better than Origin in there. Yeah, there's going to be some big matchups. Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, and Australia A all going head-to-head in the early stages of July. Now around the side, Lester Whainā-Nuku passes it back. Sam Whitelock just outside of the 22 now for the Crusaders. 5 phases in a row. Mitch Drummond back to Burke. A little bit behind Pablo Matera, but he's been able to take it nicely. And now it looks like Mitch Drummond having a little bit of an ankle roll there. Now Will Jordan goes wide off to George Bridge. Down the wing, it was still out there due to Sever Reece. I don't believe he's returned back to the field as of yet. Good low tackle there on Will Jordan. Bit of a shot to the back by it was Harry Wilson. Now continuing to drive. And it looks like that's going to be a penalty against Fraser McRae, who was in from the side, they have said. So now because of the Crusaders playing under the advantage, only 10 metres out. Now Fergus Burke passes it back behind David Arveli. Looked like he was going to be possibly going for a stepping option, but he has been dragged backwards by Angus Scott Young, still just outside of the 22. Oli Jaeger plays halfback now back to Barrett. It's a loose ball. Suliasi Vunivalu kicks it downfield, and that is going to be now going back for the penalty. The Crusaders sitting 14 points to 3 with an 11-point lead. I think they'll go for 3 here. No, sorry. I think they'll go for the corner here, I should say. Like they're saying, it's a weird game because the momentum, like they just don't seem to quite be able to build it for either side. Even though the Crusaders have got themselves a nice lead going, it still seems to be a little bit shaky at times with a lot of penalties coming against both sides, and then the handling errors creeping in as well. But now it's going to be a line out for the Crusaders, only 5 meters out from the line here. Getting ready to throw it in, waiting for that ball. He's got it now. And Brodie McAllister about to go for the line out here for the Crusaders. 5 meters out. This could be a good opportunity to get it straight into Cullen Grace, who they have been able to pick out pretty prominently throughout the early stages now. Starting to roll forward. I think it's in the hands of Brodie McAllister at the back. He tries to break off the side, but it's an advantage now to the Crusaders. Mitch Drummond goes for the grubber. Doesn't work out for him. Waiting for that ball pop pass after Will Jordan. Good use of the advantage from the referee rather than just blowing straight away. Decided to give them a little bit more time. They've still got that advantage for the collapsing of the ball. Now Fergus Burke goes for the chip in behind. It doesn't quite sit up for Braden Enor. And now it's going back for the next one. A good one, Seb. And there as well says Paddy Wagon. Now that is going to be a penalty once again against the Reds. They've got to be careful here or else they could end up with a man in the bin in the very near future. I'm just going to have a quick look and see what the odds are sitting at. I know that at the start of this game, the Reds were about $7 underdogs, I believe it was. And now it will continue to keep on building every single time that the ball is in the hands of the Crusaders. Now, Brodie McAllister once again going to have the line out. This is looking better for the Crusaders. That was a lot better in the line out, and they might be able to reap the rewards. Brodie McAllister at the back, hanging on to this one. And also we've got there, is that a pledge? Says Obi, that one's going in for the try, and Brodie McAllister does end up scoring it. And that will be his first try of the match, and possibly not the last if the Crusaders keep on going back to back to that rolling maul. Brodie McAllister been able to score it, and that was in the 36th minute of the game. There we go. Just like that. And also we have Spam and says Obi. I think Sebastian was looking forward to getting to block him, so I think he might have already done so. You know, Sebastian, he doesn't mess around. He's got the sniper ready, and he just goes bang, and all of a sudden they're gone. Just like that. I'm currently looking through at the list of Tonga's players that they did end up going with. Where did they... Okay, there's a few new names in there, which is cool to see. Sam Molly making it right now, so you can pay me whatever you can, Hamish, a milestone comment. And there as well says Sebastian, right. One moment, we'll go back and we will go on to it. For this time, we go like this. Thank you, Sebastian. For some reason, they just don't come through, do they? And it's really annoying. Right, we'll go like this. We'll go like this, and the milestone comment from, drum roll please, it is from Sebastian. $50 the same, $50 if Hamish doesn't read this comment. Yep. I see. Nicely used. 10 months you've been a member for on the channel, Sebastian, so I feel like that's worth about 50, isn't it? Possibly, and also those are not spammers, it's Michael Checker giving advice, and also we're going to come in Reds. I betted you. And there says Max, and also we're going to buy a spammer or scammer. There says Lord. Now currently the Crusaders hanging on to this one. So the 22 kicks it high. Mitch Drummond. It's not going to find touch. Nicely taken by George Bridge down the wing. And how's it, Hamish, brother? Hope you're well. A hero call. Crusaders by 15 for that one as well. Yeah, hopefully you are doing nice and well with Sebastian, or not Sebastian, sorry, Bertie. And Crusaders by 15 could be a very good shout in this match. And also we've got the easy money, says it was Paddy, and also I don't like these kind of matches. There is always one winner, says Kawasi. Yeah, I hope that the Reds can fight their way back into it a little bit more near the end of this first half, and also maybe in the early stages of the second. Just to kind of have some nice momentum for them. And also, come on, Reds, I bet it on you 1 to 12. I paid $20. That is very risky, Max, but I would have been paying a lot of money. That's for sure. If Crusaders win, do they play Reds in the quarterfinal? They certainly do. So it pretty much ends up exactly the same as this game at the exact same ground as well. And who knows, maybe even exact same time. That would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Pretty much 24 hours from now, or sorry, 1 week from now, we'll get to see the repeat. But now the Crusaders, they have got themselves a scrum feed. Waiting for it to become available. Tate McDermott just tried to kick the hand of Mitch Drummond, which is an interesting choice. He has been shunted out of there in the process. Now nice inside ball from Fergus Burke. Off to Pablo Matero. Almost looked like he was swinging a fist at Fraser McWright. And also, we're going to all cool. Thanks, mate. Here's Birdie V. Are you excited for the URC quarterfinals next week? And Paddy, do you remember when we managed to do or double hide someone during a BBL stream? Congrats, Seb, you won an orange and 2 plums. And there's us, says Joshua. And now it is going to be going into touch. And it will be a line out for the Reds, I believe. If I'm not wrong. Yes, it is. And also come on or comment Blues if you want to see a Blues vs Crusaders final. Says Max there. And also credit to Burke. He's looking great. Watching my Crusaders down in South Africa, says Jerome. And yeah, I agree. Fergus Burke for me, like, I know it's one of those ones that, like, everyone goes Richie Mo'unga. He's got to start. But for me, like, I would have to argue that, like, at the end of the day, it's just some brilliant work happening from Fergus Burke throughout the season. And I think that's also down to what he's been doing recently, right? It's kicked into touch. And also in the Bunnings NBC, he was looking very good for his side. And that's actually coming back relatively soon as well. And also we have got there, hi, what's the crack? What's up, bro? It's Luke. And there's our welcome in, Luke. Hope you are doing well, mate. And I hope you are excited. I know that you are a Blues fan, so you'll be hoping that they do make it through to the final with a competition in a few weeks' time. And whose scalp are the Blues going to shave off next? See, that's the thing. There's a part of me that kind of wants to see Blues versus Hurricanes as a semi-final. The reason for that is because the Hurricanes are the only side that has beaten the Blues. So we'll be interested to see how it does sit for that one. I see South Africa Tour of India is coming up relatively soon as well. Good stuff, mate. Says Luke, and also Richie signed with the ABs and Crusaders till 2023, so they have been able to lock in him a little bit longer. But that's the thing. I'm sure he's getting some pretty big offers from overseas, you would think, whether it's in France, Japan, wherever it is. I think someone will be wanting Richie Mo'unga. But currently half-time in this game, it is 21 points to 3. And because of that, we have another yawn. But we have got liquid, so that should keep us awake. Also, we got there, the Hurricanes do not deserve to be in the final. Here's Mark Blue. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, if you're in the top 8, you deserve to be somewhere up there. You know, like if it was like, if you were picking between the the Hurricanes or Moana Pacifica, saying who deserves to be in the final, there's one pretty straightforward option. If they win against the Western Force, they could actually promote themselves up to being a home final, which is an interesting one because I guess you prefer them to be a away final rather than the home final. But the Highlanders, you'd have to say that their win streak at the end of the season, the fact that they're at 8th now, they also deserve to be in there. As Sharks will take them. And I was just browsing through both streams, the Oz and Rugby Itch, and at least the yawns are better than the sniffles and the mucus. Says it was episodes that also started playing well, and also Hurricanes are the most consistent in Aotearoa. Says it was Luke, and also Leicester said if he doesn't get into the AB's contract soon, he'll go to France, says Max. And that's probably fair enough. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're not getting a chance, like, you might as well just not bother. If that makes sense, you might as well get $1 million, heading over to France, a little bit of a lighter workload because he'd probably be a sub and also starting every couple games and whatnot. So he'd probably quite enjoy it in France, to be honest. But this is the Reds lineup that they did go with for this matchup. We will look through at the reserves in a very short moment. But for me, one of the players who has been going the best, it's probably got to be Filippo Dalgunu or Suliasi Vunivalu. One of those two. I think it's been looking pretty decent. And also 2 Barrett kickers play for the Blues. I'll play in the Blues and the Hurricanes, both based in the North Island. Also, good thing or bad thing is Reece coming back. If so, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. So you don't want him back, I guess. And also, Leicester should go to France 10 times the money, 20 times the respect. And there says Mark Blue. And also, we've got Richie to join the Blues soon. Says Max, I think it would be a waste, to be honest, because at the end of the day, like, they've already got Beauden Barrett. And then pretty much if you sign Richie as well, you're probably killing Peter Feta's chances. So a straight swap, Peter Feta goes to the Crusaders and Richie Mo'unga to the Blues. I would accept it. But I think having both of the All Blacks fly halves at the same side just wouldn't quite work overall for like any other team in the competition. Definitely not if they have already, like if they win the competition this year, to then sign the team that might get seconds leading fly half would be pretty rough. Overall, but unless you're talking Richie McCaw, maybe he makes a comeback after doing all his Ironmans and whatnot. And also, we got there. His name is Alesta Twickenham Whaiananuku. I imagine the French will love him. And there as well, says Sebastian, and also or Hurricanes or Highlanders and MVP Will Jordan. Says James Crude. If he doesn't come back, I'm screwed. I put 500 on to score a try and the Crusaders to win. And also, do you need me to write you a RX? You don't seem to have any symptoms apart from sleep disruption. What is an RX? I do not know what that is. And also, I don't want Richie at the Blues, terrible player with a winky face from Rugby Itch. There as well. I currently sit in at halftime in this matchup, Crusaders versus Reds. I'm excited for the second half. Do you feel that they will be able to go on and win this game by, we'll go with a very harsh number, 40 points, Rugby Itch. Petafeta going to be my future Blues 10. And there's us, says Rugby Itch there. But yeah, I feel like with the form that he's got, is Reece back on the field, Amish? It is currently halftime, so no one is. But he hadn't made his way back out there for the whole of that first half ever since going down. So I think he failed his HIA possibly. But normally if you have it, like, if you're taken off for an HIA early on in the game, sometimes they will give you a refund, but it depends on what kind of betting agency you're with. And also, you know, Scott Barrett wanted to join the Blues, but he couldn't. Says Max there, and also we'll get there. I hope Ihaya teaches Sexton a lesson. Says Gareth, and also Crusaders will destroy the Reds at the end of the match, says Chris. And also we have got their prescription here in California. Well, there you go. Probably take quite a while to get over here, wouldn't it? If we were going to ship it over. Unless, of course, you can kind of fax it to a pharmacy here. Might be a good idea. I still find it interesting that, like, faxes, they are still kind of a thing when it comes to, like, prescriptions and whatnot. But other than that, like, hardly anyone faxes anymore. I want to send a fax to someone, but I don't even know if our fax is still working. And that's Agent also is with the TAB, says Aiden, so you might be lucky. They may end up giving it back because he went off so early, but then at the same time, they might also not. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether or not he does get to make his way back out there. I wouldn't even know how to send a fax. I just know it makes like that noise, doesn't it? And I was like, these great young players need to get into Europe where they are treated like gods and paid like devils. And also we look at that, and what does TAB stand for? It says it was from OB, and also we have got there who will play 10 and 12 for the All Blacks, which says Joshua. For me, I think Josh Goodhue should be in there. Rico Ioane, I think, could also, or not Josh Goodhue, Jack Goodhue, and take a bet. And there it says OB, and also we got there, good to see Ruben Love and Brandon Iosi back. Exactly right. It is good to see him back. After such a long time off, Brandon Iosi, I don't know whether or not it was injury-based or whether he just wasn't getting selected for them. And also we have got there, I once asked brother to send me a long fax when I ran out of toilet paper. And there, so says Sebastian. I mean, I have many questions, Sebastian. Oh, no, I guess, never mind. I've worked it out. You weren't actually doing the business while sending the fax. Because I was going to say, if that was the case, why is your fax machine right next to your toilet? But then I guess you asked beforehand, and then from there you did end up doing the business and going for it. So I guess you ran out of, like, shrubbery as well, possibly. And I was like, Sebastian, with a little hyphen, funny. in there as well. Says Mark. But currently now the try scorer is Brody McAllister, Fergus Burke, and Will Jordan there. And also we have got there total is that a word? Totalisata Agency Board. It's a bit fancy, isn't it? I pity the Reds for having to come back here again next week for the quarterfinals. My big question is, do the Reds stay in Christchurch for a week if they now know that they're going to be coming back? Like, did they know in the back of their minds, like, pack heavy, boys, because we might have to stay over here for a bit longer, or have another suitcase packed so we can send your stuff over afterwards, just in case? Because I feel like that would be a smarter option for them, just because you save yourself the travel, you get a week worth of playing in New Zealand in the conditions, and also, yeah, we all have to wait and see how it goes. And also, we were there, Crusaders 41, the Reds 10, and also, so there's no points scored when he went off right. Says Aiden, I don't believe so. What time did he go off the field? George Bridget was around that 10-minute mark, so it will be interesting to see whether or not it was just before or just after. In fact, I'll try and look and see what time they say that he went off. Super Rugby, what we got. Because if it's after, I assume that might be what you're looking at in terms of whether or not you do get the money back. But yeah, it will be interesting to see whether or not it was. I know it was early, How early was it for Severies? We'll go like this. Match page, lineup. Okay, he went off after 9 minutes, and the first driver scored in the 11th. So you might be lucky, Justin. I said 28, but 38 or 31 looks more likely, says Mark. So I assume, so you are locking in 28, Mark, rather than your 21 from the start, possibly. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And also, there were no points scored, or there were no points scored. So, yeah, he did go off early on for it, but we'll have to wait and see whether or not there is a chance. And also, Hamish, do you have Māori blood and ancestry in you, or do you just have Scottish Pakeha heritage there? And yes, sir, says Mark there. I don't believe I've got any Māori blood. I don't even know if I might be Scottish. I've got a very Scottish name, but I think it's just because they like the name Hamish. Hey, Mum, am I Scottish?
I don't know.
She doesn't know.
I haven't sort of done that side of it.
No, you just found me in a basket, didn't you? Now I'm here.
Yeah. You look like a Hamish, so we called you that.
Look like a Hamish, so they called me Hamish. There you go. And also, Super Rugby Pacific so far isn't any different to how the inaugural tournament itself first started in 1996. Ironically, the Crusaders were bottom feeders during that time, says Sammy Souza. And also, we have got the good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hamish, how are you doing? Says Justin, doing very well, mate. And Scottish name, a surname. And there as well, says Gareth. And also, we got right, sorry, says Ezra. And also, we have got the Crusaders are doing really well, but no Richie brothers and sisters, or without no Richie brothers and sisters, says Justin. Are you Scottish? Yeah, you. No?
I'm about to ask your father.
She's just going to go and ask my dad where we came from. You know? And also TAB mean Tolicita. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Agency board. And also next minute your name changes to Haggis. And there says Sammy Sauza. Could do. I know that, like, I have no idea. I once took part in the Scottish games, but that wasn't because I was Scottish. That was just because they needed people from the primary school.
So guess what you're doing during the week?
Guess what I'm doing during the week?
Family tree.
Family tree. Geez, that's going to take a bit. I just get one of those swab things, don't you? Shove it up the nostril and they go, you're Irish. Or something along those lines.
What? He's English.
I'm English. Am I?
Who?
Did he say bulls?
I thought he did.
English bulls? I've got English bulls. But also, sorry, trying to say your surname is Scottish. And there says Gareth. Yeah, it does have a bit of a Scottish ring, doesn't it? And also, we have got the I came from Scotland as a nipper. There's Mysterion.
No, I'm not repeating that.
I got English bulls, did he say?
From his
Ah,
dad.
from his dad. I see.
Yeah, no, it's getting a bit rude.
Sam Whitelock for 12 or 13 says for by. I actually saw a highlight of Sam Whitelock the other week, and he did very nicely. He broke about 3 tackles, did a sidestep, scored a 60-meter try way back in the day. So I'd say if he runs like that, he's got to be probably number 12, to be honest. And also we've got Let's Go Johnny JD for the win down with the sweetest. I've just realized what you're talking about. And because it's a donation, I kind of got to put it on the screen, don't I? It might not be up for very long. Hey, Mum. There you go. And also, does that mean they haven't dropped? And English have dropped quite a few things. They drop the ball often in the rugby. And also, we have got there, what car do you drive, says James Crude. I mean, the car that I use is probably a Nissan. So I don't know if that means anything. Where's a Nissan from? Japan?
Where are they all from? I don't know.
Maybe. Hello, Mummy, says Patty.
How's it going?
And also, we got there, is the Scottish heritage ancestry from your dad, or are you just English? Says Ezra. I'll have to do a family tree, I think, or do an ancestry test. How much does an ancestry test cost? And you look Russian to me. I can put on a Russian accent when I need to. Vodka. That's the best thing you can do. I'm going to set ancestry DNA. And I'll say, yeah, there's Petty Wagon there as well. I think that's to you, maybe.
I'm cold, that's what I'm saying.
She's cold. It's $159 for an ancestry one. That's in Australian dollars. So you can work out where you're from for about 170 New Zealand dollars. Do it, says Patty. I'll just quickly repeat. It's $170 to be able to do it.
You might have to give a few more $2 donations.
Yeah, that is a hefty fine, but I guess you find out where you're from. And James JOC is out injured, isn't he? Or is he playing? He is not playing for this game, so it's, I think, an injury, but it could just be resting maybe, saving him for the quarterfinals. But currently turnovers conceded 11-11 in the early stages of this game. And also interesting on Murray Scottish, and yep, you can take DNA test. You look, your sub race, trace the family births. And there says, it was from Luke. I wonder if my sister's done one. I think she wanted to do one at some stage. Because I assume where she's from, I'm also from. Because, like, you know, I'm not going to go too far into the biology, but I'd assume it's very similar. And I wonder what my ancestry is. Oh, wait, says Gareth Ferguson there as well. But currently the Crusaders, they've got George Bridge in the midfield by the looks of it. In fact, no, sorry, he's actually out on the side of Severisa. He has not made his way back out to the field. And now, you know, ready to go. There's actually just the one change for the Reds. Richie Asiata had to come on the field a lot earlier than he would have been anticipating. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half, it was 50-50% possession in the first. Who will be able to score more points in the second half? Are you going with the Crusaders or the Reds make a comeback? I have Barcelona, Jewish heritage from Ireland. My great-grandmother fought rising as a Jew, says Luke there. And also we have got there a monkey jumping on the bed. Is that is Obi? I know there used to be a no more monkeys jumping on the bed. What was that? That was like a nursery rhyme you had to sing at primary school. And also 5 in the bed, and the little one said roll over, roll over. So the little one got thrown into the wall, I believe is how it worked. Something along those lines. But now around the side, hanging on to this one, 25 metres out. Reds come back in there. Oh, I've just understood what that is for Gareth. Has just explained it to it. How's it going? The Kiwi lad says Nathan now going to be passed back. Mitch Drummond inside of the 22. Sam Whitelock considering going for the step, and hang on, he's trying to relive that try from way back in the day. Still on the side of the Crusaders, and Fergus Burke kicks it downfield. It's a good clearance, and it does go into touch. Nice kick from Fergus Burke there, and he's asking for a couple more meters, which normally means that the referee takes a couple more back, just because he goes, nah, well, if you don't think I've got it out in the right place, stuff you. It's the best way of describing it. Now going for the line out, Richie Asiata. He's been struggling today. It's gone to the back. It was relatively straight. Well, that one by Hamish Stewart takes a nice Penrith Panthers leading the Cowboys 12-0. Says Daddy Fat Sacks. Do you have like a name, like a first name or something that I could call you? Now Richie Asiata. The Reds have got this one just outside of the 22. McDermott across to Angus Scott Young. Hanging on to this one for the Reds. They need the first try of the second half. Nice ball. Lawson Crichton goes through. He tries to offload, but Jordan Petaia unable to take it. And it's a disappointing end to a nice move for the Reds there. And unfortunately, Lawson Crichton, he did all the hard work to make his way straight through, but unfortunately not having a backup option for that pass morning evening hours. That game looks to be going the way I thought it might. See, here's Fleshin there. So I guess the question, Fleshin, next week, rematch of this same game for the quarterfinal. Who are you saying will be able to take it in next week's game? Do you think it will still go the same way? Or do you think the Reds are trying to play a little bit of... No, probably not. I was going to say maybe they're just trying to give them like a false sense of security for the Crusaders. Make them think, okay, we're going to dominate them so we don't have to put all of our best players in. And then maybe the Reds just play an absolute blinder. But that will be tough to do. Now McDermott going back. Richie Asiata. I mentioned he did go on the field earlier on. That was for Matt Faisler, who did get knocked out in the first 5 minutes of this game. Now Angus Scott Young trying to bounce through. And now the tackle. I think my dad just shouted out that she knows.
No.
She doesn't know.
No.
She doesn't know. My sister does not know where we're from.
Well,
Still no Reese, says Aiden.
no, she hasn't had the test either.
Hasn't had the test either. And also they can't get the job done in Taniella's absence, says Sebastian. But now going to be off to Braden Ennor, moving up to 45 metres out. Did you see Squidge Rugby reckons England will win the World Cup? And there says Gareth. Just to confirm, Squidge is English, yes? Because I think, that's the thing. He's very good with his analysis, though. So if he says it could happen, he's probably got a decent chance of being right. But yeah, it is an interesting one. See how they do end up going. It's still a little while away. And also, there were 10 in the bed, and the little one said roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one fell off. There were 9 in the bed, and the little one said roll over, roll over. So they all fell off. I believe would be the next part there. So no throwing them at the wall. I see. Now, 43 minutes through this game. Both sides, they just want to be able to get themselves some form heading into the next round. You'd have to say the Crusaders have certainly built more form in this game. Can you give the Crusaders a false sense of security? Not really. To be honest, they kind of like, if you play kind of well against them, they normally up it for the next game, which is Welsh, is he? Oh, well, then maybe he's right for that one. But now going to be nicely step forward. And they are hanging on to this ball now. Wide cut-out pass. And it's going to be just outside as I look at my crystal ball. Crusaders stand strong and tall. Hard to beat at this stage. That looks like it's going to be another try for the Crusaders. Pablo Matera's given it a bit of a fist pump there. And also we know he's Welsh. He predicted the Bok win in 2019. So yes, Gareth there as well. Now that one is going to be going down possibly over the line for Will Jordan, but possibly not. Okay, Ben O'Keefe, he's English, says Adam. Wait, is he English or Welsh? I'm now confused. Okay, checking to see whether or not it was grounded before it was lifted. To be fair, he does do a lot of URC stuff rather than Premiership stuff. So that would make sense if he was Welsh. Now, Will Jordan, does he get it down? Oh, I'd say it was short, but then maybe he slid over, and also born and raised in Nottingham. And there says Adam. Now, it's close. Matera and Kieran Reid enjoying Kiwi food on the AB's channel. Says Sebastian, might have to give that one a look, because Pablo Matera, he seems like he's just absolutely loved being in New Zealand for the season. The Crusaders camp, right, this one's going to be very hard to tell. Right, well, Jordan, this is still going to be hard to tell. I was like, sorry, Fleshin. And there as well says Patty. Wait, where's that? And also, I'm from Russia, says Max. And there as well, that's on his hand, I think, for Will Jordan. This is going to be a 50-50. And I think because he did say no try initially, that might be the one. I seen that German guy playing for the Blues. He all right. And there says over, so I believe that is Anton Setner that you are talking about. No clear evidence of the grounding. So we'll be sticking with the on-field decision of no try. And it's going to be held up. Will Jordan, not too happy, but he probably knows he's going to score another 15 before the end of the final, so he's all right. A little bit of a boo going around the ground as well. And also we've got the Let's Go Blues. Says Nathan there, welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you are doing well. I feel like that's very strategic because now that message of Let's Go Blues will be up on the screen for quite some time. So yeah, I guess getting a little bit of advertising for the Blues playing tomorrow up against the Waratahs at 9:45. Thank you very much for your donation, mate. Hugely appreciate it. Cullen Grace charging forward now, only about 30 metres out from the line here. Nice, Nate. And there as well says Obi, and also we've got there, are you, or for real, are you from Russia? Now it's a nice run forward. Will Jordan close to the touchline. In fact, it's going to be George Bridge instead. Now passes it off. I believe they made a couple changes here, the Crusaders as well, possibly just trying to arrest a few players. Now Ethan Blackett are going to be almost out up by it's Fiel Futchawaka, and also we've got there credit to the Reds defence. And there says Sami Sosa. Now it's going to be going down. That's a knock on, a double knock on, in fact. And now it is going to be a time off, and they are taking subs. And also we've got there Robbie Owens is English. Oh, well, okay. He's a huge Welsh supporter with a surname, perhaps a Welsh dad. And then also I clicked on hidden, says Paddy. And then all good Hamish says Nathan also, yes, he hit you by mistake, Flish, and he's drunk, says Sebastian. So luckily he was able to find the unhide button as well, though. And you are back. Welcome in, Flish. Now at the moment, Dane Zander going to be coming off the field. And that is going to be for the Reds. So they have to make a couple late changes, or early changes also. People, and as I said, Patrick and also Blues under 15 play the Tars tomorrow. And the assess by Meek and also Blues putting up their B team tomorrow. And also we have got there Max, you're my comrade, says Obi. And also we've got there not quite, says Betty Wagon. And also the laughing face from Fleshin there as well. Currently 47 minutes through the game. My mum's, she's sitting by the fire. She's nice and cozy at the moment. It's quite cold. Here, 3 degrees. We're sitting at, which is what I like to call mild. Nah, it's not great, but I know that during winter we're going to get to like -3, and I know that Sebastian would probably get a sweat up in -3, but it's going to be pretty cold here for us Kiwis. I believe that's when we get into the cricket season, but luckily we're in England, so it's going to be an English summer for us. But saying that, that could also be -3, depending on the temperatures. But currently 40 metres out from their line, the Reds, they are going to have themselves another scrum feed. Big push there from the Reds, and it looked like it's going to be relatively secure now. McDermott goes off. First receiver, it is going to be Hamish Stewart. And also we've got the Crusaders versus Blues Grand Final, Super Rugby 2022, Battle of the Titans of 2022. See, it's Justin there. It would be a pretty awesome matchup to see. It would be happening at Eden Park as well. But the thing is, with the Blues, if they lose their quarterfinal match, that will actually mean that no matter what happens, if the Blues are out, then the Crusaders then book themselves that home final. But then if the Crusaders also lose, then it becomes at this stage a Brumbies home final. But that could also change before the end of the round. That was forward from Sururu, but the referee went, we'll let them keep going just for now. The crowd aren't too happy with it. Now going back, Crichton goes to Jordan Pataya, kicking it down just outside of the 22. Oh, it's a mistake from Lester Whainananuku, slips out of the hands, and now it is going to be a line out on the 22 for the Reds. And Justin, that would be a great game and a deserved final, says Orlando there as well. Yeah, I think that's the matchup that everyone always loves to see, and unfortunately, it always seems to be slightly delayed, if that makes sense. We always seem to have either a postponement of that game or it just gets cancelled. So hopefully it does get to take place again. Should be a very exciting game. And also, hey, brother, how are you? Says Junior Ryder, doing very well, mate. Currently, Angus Scott Young, he will be coming off the field, and it will be Liam Wright replacing him. So they have gone with the 6-2 split as well for the Reds. Nicely taken by Sururu. That was playing the man in the year, I thought, from Scott Barrett, but it's going to be play on just for now. Hanging on to this one, McDermott does then pass it back across to Harry Wilson, moving up to 22 metres out. Lester Whainananuku, the man who initially put it into touch, does make the tackle now. Ryan Smith trying to spin out of that low tackle. Whitelock is opposite number. Now, McDermott, he milked it well, gets the penalty, and Whitelock, he's not too happy with it, but McDermott knew that if he passed it into Whitelock, he gets the offside penalty. You think Blues will win tomorrow? I think it's going to be tricky. They are actually underdogs going into that game, and that is due to the fact that they have actually gone with quite a few changes. And so who do you think will win this game, says Davida? At this stage, I'd have to say the Crusaders with it being 50 minutes through, but the Reds, if they get a couple tries in a row, who knows what happens? Maybe they do get just a little bit closer. And also we have got the Orlando. Yes, they would be a perfect end to the season. And also we have got there, my dad's Welsh, and growing up in England meant he doubled down on how Welsh he was. Well, there you go. Squidge was born in England. Can't believe it. Thanks, Adam. Says Gareth. And also we have got there, as long as there are no Aussie teams in the final, everyone's happy, says Sebastian. And probably have Welsh parents. But that's the thing of being born in the British Isles or British Isles. Do you take a parentage or where you were born? Says Flesh in there. And also Reds defending well. They need to do better on the scoreboard, says Sammy Sizer. But currently now it's another advantage to the Reds. Only a few meters out for the line now, and there won't be a Crusaders versus Blues final. And of course, that is because Paddy is a Hurricane supporter. So he will be hoping to see those men in there as well. So I guess, Paddy, would you rather play the Blues or the Crusaders in the final if it was going to be Hurricanes in there? Do let me know. Sam Whitelock straight on the ball. Gives away the penalty. Off feet. And actually 7 rolling. So Ethan Blackett aren't able to get out of there. The Reds trying to take this momentum back from the Crusaders. Okay, no more is the comment to Sam Whitelock. If there's any more penalties, possibly. Oh, like they're saying, Sururu not taking the quick tap. Or tried to go around the side instead, sorry. And also we have got there, well, the Blues are going to be hard. And also there won't be Blues Crusaders final. And then also want to see Brumbies versus Crusaders in the semi, says Max. And also Blues will lose in the quarters, says Obi. And also as a Canes fan, I'd rather play the Blues because we're the only team that beat them this season. So yeah, there would be just a little bit of extra prestige in that matchup. But yeah, I'm excited to see who it ends up being. I feel bad for sides in the quarterfinals. Like, I understand it's the knockout stages, but you could have a brilliant season. Like, the worst example of it would be if the Blues end up losing to someone like the Highlanders in the quarterfinals, and then you're out. And of course, not saying that will happen before I get destroyed by Blues supporters, but pretty much anything can happen in a quarterfinal. It's a one-off game, and you got to make sure you're playing your best, because if you get it wrong, then you're out. And the Chiefs last year, they did actually go with a B-side up against the Blues in their last game of Super Rugby Aotearoa, then went on to lose to the Crusaders in their next matchup. That's going to be Leicester Whaiananuku. Waits for it, well weighted, and now we'll put the ball down, and it is a goal line dropout. As goes Blues vs Crusaders in semi. And as I said, Paddy, and also we've got there raises a question: if you were born, or if your parents are Scottish and you were born in New Zealand, are you Scottish or are you a Kiwi? Here's Gareth. That's a good question. What is Finlay Christie? Where was Finlay Christie born? He's a Scotsman, isn't he? My mum is shrugging her shoulders. But was he born in Scotland and then now lives in New Zealand? And also, Blues are a hard nut to crack. And there's no such thing as a British Isles. It's Atlantic Archipelago. Oh yeah, which I think your best decision is take DNA test and also track or trace fa in there. So I think that's family tree maybe. And also your Kiwi are but part Scottish or descent. See, there's Luke there. That because I'm quite pale. Is that the comparison maybe? But now Filippo Dalgunu, in fact, there's Vuni Vali around the side. It's because I don't go outside, my mum's just said. I'm getting heckled from the side. But now take McDermott off. That's going to be a drop ball there. Now, I can also watch your God, Carlos. And there as well says in the guy, and also we have got the Reds just not taking advantage of the opportunities effectively. And Paddy Wagon True, is that how it will pan out? At this stage, the system depends on whether or not the Blues win tomorrow. That's going to be knocked on by Will Jordan. And now it's back in the hands of the Reds. Filippo Dalgunu trying to step through, gives it off to McDermott. The Reds have had a lot more of the possession in the second half. Now big kick in behind from Hamish Stewart. Sees the space, but it is going to be the scrambled running of George Bridge that has been able to shut that one down, trying to go straight through the defence of the Reds. And the good news is they have not given up yet. That is going to be Pablo Matera cleaning out Jordan Pataia, and it looks like maybe it could end up as something more than a penalty. And yep, sure, as Hamish, all the Scottish people have Viking blood, wettest place in Europe, intelligent guy, says Luke there. And also, we've there. How does it feel being heckled in the chat and in real life at the same time? It's quite a juggle, to be honest. It's like you don't know who's firing it at you next. Oh, Rose, you're just smiling at me. It doesn't really, to be honest, though, I don't like now they have a top 8 in a 12-team competition. Top 6 makes more sense. Oh, I shall we reward mediocre teams? Says Junior will ride it all. Okay, so Jordan Pataia, strategically, I believe, when he was picked up by Pablo Matera, he does flip, but I believe the reason he flipped was because he was trying to protect his neck. So for me, that's a yellow card, at least for Pablo Matera here. And I'm Scottish, Maori, English, African. Don't ask the percentage. I can't remember. Says Obi and also oh no. And was Charles Fiatel any good for the ABs? He's now playing for Tonga. I mean, he's come a long way since playing for the All Blacks. He's looking extremely strong. And also quarterfinals will be 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5. This might be a red card for Pablo Matera. And because of it, you'd say that's the neck and the head. For me, if that's a red, that means that he could be missing not just next week's quarterfinal, but also the game after that, depending on how long he gets suspended for. We did see Sam Gilbert did get suspended not too long ago, and he might be missing a couple games. And also Bro Not the Bro, or No Not the Bro, Pablo Ferguson is an utterly Scottish name in there. And also, thank you, Paddy, says Nathan. And also, well, then I'm African, but Scottish descent by that logic, but a pale African and definitely not recognised as African in my own country, says Gareth there. Okay, it sounds like it's going to be a yellow, which doesn't mean that it can't be a suspension. I will mention it could mean that they do look at it later on, but for now, it is a yellow for Pablo Matera. And who's the tallest All Black of all time, people? Oh, tallest All Black. There's been some beam poles around in there. 2 metre Peter? No, he was playing cricket, wasn't he? Brodie Retallick, he's quite tall, but I don't think he would be the tallest All Black. And he's been a beast for the Crusaders. And also we've got the LY because it gives underdogs a chance to do something You don't think they will do? Here's Paddy there, but that one's going to be nicely kicked into touch. Because, I mean, with the way that it's sitting currently, with this one, like, you'd have to say if the Reds were in 7th and missed out because they're in 7th with 35 points compared to the Highlanders, you'd say they were pretty unlucky to not be able to go through. So it's probably more that the Highlanders are that side that have crept in a position, but it could actually be the Western Force, depending on how their last games go. Tomorrow is a good game for the Blues and throw in the towel then later. And there, as I said, Spider-Mac, and also the stage still only another 25 minutes of the Pablo exited during 1940 or 1497 as Spanish Inquisition. He would have put them up on the cross. Bad player. Says, look, I feel like the thing is, though, Pablo wasn't born in 1497, was he? And he's growing a nice mustache. I feel like you can't get too deep with it. As well, but currently now 10 metres out, and it wasn't Mark Cooksley the tallest. And there, Justin, I'm just saying it was Mark Cooksley in there. And also easily Mark Cooksley, my coach, says Lord Raptor. They're currently now 5 metres out from the line once again for the Reds. The last thing that the Crusaders want is a penalty against them, but currently 56 metres out, getting close here. And now that was very close. For an the Crusaders have been penalised, but the Reds just aren't capitalising on the home team's mistakes. So here's Sammy Souza, another advantage. This almost has to be a yellow. To be honest, that's going close. Ben O'Keefe fell over, but he was able to see that it was a try, and it is the first try of the Reds. Okay. I think they are just asking the question, is there going to be a yellow card? And I don't think it will yet. Isiata has been able to score the try, and that is in the 57th minute, we'll call it. And they are now going to be back in the game just a little bit more, the Reds. And also we have got the we are the world, we are the people, we are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's not giving. Is it let's start giving for that one? I don't know, maybe. And also we got the Red says NZ guy. Well, that one, so Richie Isiata able to go in and score himself that try. And now, 57 minutes through. The kick for the post, it's gone over. And the comeback begins. Maybe. And also, come on, Crusaders, you should hit 50 by now. Says it was a Spider. And also, we've got the Highlanders with 3 wins. Says to be in the playoffs, says Junior Ryder. I mean, it's one of those ones, though. The Highlanders with 3 wins. The Reds with 8 wins. They would have missed out. So would you say that a team with 8 wins in a season of 14 games deserves to be in the final? And the answer is probably, yeah, more than 50%. But it's just more of the case of you can't really have an uneven number unless they went with this kind of system of you go, I was going to say you go the top one already qualifies for the semis and then it's kind of everyone else plays off. But then it gets quite awkward trying to work it out. And also we go there, howdy mate, says Carl, welcome in mate, hope you are doing well. Currently the Crusaders, they are leading the Reds 21 points to 10. And also Lowell says Kiwi Case. And then that one's going up high from Tate McDermott. Waiting for it to come down. Nicely taken by Will Jordan, who was tackled by Filippo Delgunu, driven backwards. And the momentum is shifting in this match just a little bit here. Ethan Blackett, he is spooning with Filippo Delgunu on the ground, keeping him in the breakdown. He has let him go now. And also Crusaders will reply soon, says Graham. Now, not quite taken nicely by George Bridge. It's bounced up into the hands of the Reds now. They'll be using their backline. Instead, Hamish Stewart once again goes for that kick. It didn't work last time. Didn't work that time either. Or I also think a top 4 playoff, like the Prem is better. So, yeah, if you're going to go with, like, changing it to 6, I think you got to cut it down even more and go with 4. Just so that you're straight semis rather than kind of that halfway in between. That was a big shot from Cullen Grace, which got a big ooh and a ah from the crowd as well. Now 59 minutes and Uru runs it hard. And the Reds, this is certainly looking like their better half of rugby. Now Hamish Stewart kicks it again. Straight down to Fergus Burke. And now passes it across to George Bridge. And also not that worried about the Crusaders, especially when they have their own way of winning despite indiscipline issues. And also we got their big ooh and a ah. Says Kiwi Case, and also well score reflects Crusaders' domination of territories and possession of the ball. 5 CL1 breaks against Reds 2. And there 5 CL1 KL1. 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 Clean line ones? No, not too sure. A clean breakthrough. Okay. that makes a lot more sense. Thank you for dumbing it down for me. I feel like I need that every once in a while. Sometimes I'm terrible at like the shortened forms of things. Overall, but currently the Reds, to be able to win this game, they actually no longer have the result available for this match. And by the looks of it, actually none of these ones are there. No Springbok squad announcement until after knockouts are done. So is that the round of 16, Carl, or is that as in all of those matchups done? And 2.06 meters. I love the commentary process. Kiwi Case, appreciate you, mate. And we are back tomorrow with 4 matches in a row for Super Rugby, plus the Champions Cup, plus some sevens. As our Dominic Bird, 2.6 meters, or 2.06. And this is Justin. Now driving forward for the Rolly Moya. The Crusaders looking to fire back pretty much instantly in this game if they do end up getting it right. But currently 20 minutes left. Brody McAllister, they've got the advantage for in through the side. In fact, it's actually going to be the number 16, Ricky Jackson, got Crusaders minus 10.5. Why are they making me sweat for, says Anthony. Although, right now, they might be able to help, I guess, let you breathe more easily. So they are 5 meters out. Drummond goes short to David Havili. He's going to be taken down by Hamish Stewart. They have actually still got the advantage as well here for the Crusaders. Now Mitch Drummond goes back to Ricky Jackson. That's gone out the side, and it's going back for the penalty. And also was Dominic Bird and All Black. And so far, no yawning for Hamish for now, says Sammy Souza. I think I've had about 2, which isn't too bad. Oops, he's just spilt this drink on my pants. And my mumsy. Whoopsies, wet myself. So knock on by the Crusaders. I'm going to quickly dry this because or else then it will leave a massive ring on my desk. But now, once again, kick downfield. I feel like Hamish Stewart is the designated kicker, but it hasn't really worked out for them. Also, oh no, hay fever. Ash wet himself, says Betty. I did indeed. And also advantage, says Rishi. Now it's going to be stolen. The breakdown from the Reds once again. Now Tay McDermott balling outside to Felipe Dalgunu, starting to break the line. And the Reds, they look like they've got a little bit of a late comeback maybe on the cards. If they win this game, they will move their way up quite a bit. And also, Kiwi so funny. Says Anthony there. Currently now hanging on to this one. Yes, they've still got it. Jock Campbell has to play halfback. Dane Zander off now to Sef Agassi. Oh, no, it's dropped by Richie Aziata, and they have said that it went forward. And also, who is your pick for the knockout for the South African teams? One moment. I'll have a quick look and see who's playing who, because I know that there's Sharks versus Bulls in there. That game, for me, could be an absolute just brutal one. I think it's the best way of putting it. One moment. We go down. USC, where are ye? There it is. Ulster versus Munster. That's going to be a good one. And don't spill water on your laptop, says Rishi. I'll try not to. Instead, I just spill it on my crotch for now. Wakes you up big time. Next game, Bulls versus Sharks. So Munster, Ulster at home, I think, take that one up against Munster. The Bulls at home up against the Sharks. I think the Sharks sneak it. Leinster versus Glasgow. I think Glasgow win by 58. That's a lie, of course. Leinster win that one quite nicely. And then also Stormers versus Edinburgh could be tricky because it's in South Africa. I think it's going to be the Stormers. Sharks and the Stormers. Says Gareth there. Also reference to Dominic Bird, All Black. That's what Suri said. Says Justin. And also we've got the Stayers forgot where the try line is. It turned 21 yesterday and still 21 today. Says it was Spider-Man and also Crusaders have 20 unanswered points, question mark, without Richie Moringa, not sure, says Justin. And also we're good morning on tea break, no chance of the sack here, says Eric. So that is very good news for yourself. Currently, 18 minutes left. Crusaders up by 11. I don't know. Like it's still a little bit close. Crusaders need to score though. That would be the big changer. Well, I'll also name those teams then, or name me those teams then. And there says Junior Ryder to Paddy. That must have been a bit earlier on, maybe. And also we got there to Blackadder Senior play one for one game for the ABs. Todd Blackadder. He played for the All Blacks?
Todd.
Yeah. I'm getting the nod for that one. And also, we have also got the Bulls and the Stormers. And also, I nearly crooked my neck when you said that Leinster prediction, says Fleishan. Yeah, I thought it might throw a couple of people off for it. But the thing is, I've said it now, and I bet you now Glasgow will make it really close just to mess with me and have me on the edge of my seat going, I might have got this quite wrong. And also, he played a few, didn't he? Says Nazi Williams, and also, yes, says Nathan there, and also Red Tars or Canes. Says Battywagon, but now it's going to be David Arvelli off to Fergus Burke. Still trying to drive forward. The thing is, the Crusaders strategically, for me, should take a 3-pointer in this advantage because they haven't got any other points on the board for the second half. So for me, you put the 3 over, you get 14 points ahead, and then at least that way you're kind of securing yourself a little bit more of a chance of winning it. At worst, you go on a golden point to Todd Blackadder play for the All Black ABs. He did. Says Kiwi Case, and also we have they're in the top 8. They have a better record than the Highlanders. Says Junior Ryan, and also we have Todd Blackadder was class hard man. And Real Madrid or Liverpool. It's a tough one. I know that Liverpool are going in as favourites for that game on Sunday morning. But yeah, not too sure which way I would go with that one. It looks like Fergus Burke. He wants the corner. That's what the man will get. They've said there's been 58 kicks in this game. 58. A kick a minute. Over 1,000 kicking metres per team. That's a lot. That is quite a bit. And Leinster versus Sharks and Stormers versus Munster are my predictions for the semis. Also, Australia are to win the World Cup in 2023. What two players we have to step up for Australia to win? Oh. Tell you what, that's tricky. Just two. For me, I mean, you're probably looking at Tongan Thor really dominating a scrum for the Australians, because at the end of the day, if you've got a solid tight head, you've got a solid scrum to go with it. And then for me, another player is probably Tate McDermott, to be honest. So I've actually gone with 2 Reds players. And also we have got there, you were talking about being like 16 playoff, and also Dave Campese and George Gregan, says Anthony there. And hard to score, says NZ guy. But now it's a rolling maul for the Crusaders. Rather than going for that 3, they've decided that they want to go for the 7. Now it's available at the back. Pablo Matera is back out on the field as well, I should mention. Same with Tamaiti Williams. It's going to be another penalty to the Crusaders. My God, 58 kicks. Northern Hemisphere Rugby would be proud, says Kiwi Case. Yeah. I don't remember the last game that I saw 58 kicks in like a full match, let alone in a game with still another 14 minutes left. And also, yes, Satan's back to 15. Says Lord, there they are indeed. And today played over 20 games, closer to 25 for the ABs. Or Toddy, sorry, played over 20 games, closer to 25 for the ABs. That is over, but I think it's held up here once again, although that might now be down. So they're going to have to make a decision here for the Crusaders, and the referee, he's saying, everyone stay still. I want to see what I can see. So they stay still. Fraser McGrath, I think, tried to stop it. He's got a massive smile on his face, bringing on Crusaders, and also, I think, going to score and take that 3-3-3-3-3-3. Says Anthony there. And also, watching soccer is great. Playing it is boring, as says Xavier. I think a lot of people actually have it reversed overall. I think some people prefer playing it than watching it. I know that that's the same as golf. People would much rather hit the ball themselves than watch someone else hit it for them. Okay. That looks good for Christie. Oh, there's the hand. The saving grace. Oh, that might be down. Maybe not. I think Fraser McGrath's reached over, stopped on Christie initially, but then I think he was able to get it down. From my view, in Adelaide, Australia, looks like a try, says Anthony. And also, they should have taken the 3 points, says Graham there. Right, this one needs to be clear and conclusive. That it's gone over Canada versus Czech Republic and Finland versus USA in the Ice Hockey World Championship semi-finals. Prediction for who wins the trophy. Hamish, remember that I'll gamble my rent money based on your prediction. Right. So the best way to do it, I think, is to pass the responsibility on to someone else. Mum. She said no. Canada, Czech Republic, Finland, USA. Who's winning the hockey? No? No? You sure? Where do you like the best out of all those places? Nah, she's gone mute. She's not telling me. And I'll say, how can the Hurricanes get to the grand final from here? Hamish and Co. says, Justin, I believe they've given that try for the Crusaders. So pretty much for the Hurricanes, all they need to do is play their game up against the Western Force. If they win their game up against the Western Force, there will be potential that by then they could boost themselves into a home final, but then that would be relying on the Chiefs losing, the Waratahs losing, Those two would have to lose. Okay, they're going for the try, and it will be the man at number 7, Tom Christie, who was able to get in. Also, I happened to come across your channel by chance, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll be sure to tune in again tomorrow. It's very handy to watch Super Rugby, or it's very hard, to watch Super Rugby from here in Finland. But your channel will do, says Kiwi Case, and I'm living in Finland. We'll take the USA 100%. Oh, okay. Do you think they take the winner of Canada, Czech Republic? Kiwi Case. I love joining the 4-ball with 2 points to count. I just drive the car and drink beer. Yes, it was Gareth. But also, can you do another Highlanders career mode, says Shannon. There is actually talks of another career mode coming relatively soon for Rugby Challenge. We don't know whether or not it will be during the season or maybe just after the season. Might be when we get it going, because we do want to do one for Moana Pacifica for the Fiji and Dry, and then also a couple of repeats of teams of the New Zealand sides getting another crack, and then maybe even a sevens career mode if that is something you guys are keen on seeing. And Yahoo Saders says, Lord, there in Finland are the host in fairness, says Sebastian. Oh, okay. So, I mean, and the fact that they're missing the NHL players for USA, I think they'll be hit a little bit. Oh, no, but Finland would have a couple NHL players, wouldn't they? I think it's a coin toss. Unfortunately, I don't have a coin, though. So I'll click my fingers, and whatever finger sounds like it clicked. No, I don't know how you do it. How many fingers am I holding up, Sebastian? Have a guess. If you get it right, then you get to pick. If you get it wrong, then you get to pick. And also, that's Crusaders are right and disciplined, but in control, as I said, Sammy Souza, and the kick has gone over as well for them. And also, we have got there Talofa also. How you doing? Can't wait for the sevens tomorrow. It's going to be very exciting. And even with Super Rugby overlapping with it, we will keep you guys updated on every single match that has taken place. And then we will fit in the sevens games that we can as well. And do you think Schmidt will be the Landers' new coach for next season, says Junior Ryder? 3 fingers, says Sebastian. It's 4, which means you have to pick. That work? I would say out of all of the kits, like I would say I'd like Finland. Everyone also, we have got there Kiwi, Chameleon, and also we have got there Canada for the ice hockey wins, says Justin there. So maybe Canada-Finland is the final is what we are predicting. That's going to be pop pass up here. And the Reds have still got 10.5 minutes left. And who knows, maybe I can try and convince my parents to do a little bit of the commentary tomorrow so that I can do some of the sevens as well. When? 3 a.m. No, it shouldn't be too late. A little bit of, I think 7:30, somewhere around there, maybe 8:30.
No, I'm not here. I'm going to the movies.
And also we got there. Thanks for the feedback. And the Hurricanes, Hamish, perfect brother. And there's us, says Justin.
Yeah, I'm at the movies.
You're at the movies. What movie are you watching?
Downton Abbey.
Well, there you go. It's going to be charged down there almost. And Celtics or Miami Heat, game 6 tonight. Celtics leading series 3-2. Golden State already qualified for the NBA final. And that came with a donation from Carl as well, right? Celtics or Miami Heat. Okay, another thing that I know very little about. But we'll see how we go. And also I'm predicting Finland versus Canada hockey final. And my prediction is Canada versus Finland in the final. And Finland take the trophy after extra time. And I'll say that'll be great for sevens commentary. Says Tafatolo there. Yeah. This is going to be, right, I'm going to have a quick, if you are okay with it, I am just going to have a quick wee Google to see who's, like, kind of better, I guess you could say. And also, I like the sound of that, Sebastian. And also, Celtics easy, says Anthony there. So, NBA, the Celtics, they are favourites by a lot up against the Heat. But the Heat are 3-2 down. I assume, are you going by a margin or just a win? Do let me know, Carl, and also Golden State all day. And also, I dated a beautiful Canadian young lady. She was the one that got away, says Justin. Areas to beat Crusaders in the quarter, hopefully. And also, I predicted Warriors versus Heat in the NBA final. Ooh, that's going to be a nice bit of work, and the Reds score. Nicely done. And it is Harry Wilson who's been able to get that try. So it seems like it's just continuing to build for this game. The Reds trying to get the late comeback. If they win this game, they will get themselves a little bit further up the table and will not have to play up against the Crusaders. So it's a win-win, really, for the Reds if they do end up winning this game. Harry Wilson down the wing does do very nicely. Does manage to get the try in the 72nd minute. So Sebastian saying underdogs And others are saying the Celtics to be able to win that one. And also, win or lose, Hamish, I'm praying for the Miami Heat win. And there says Carl. And also, I'm going to roll with the Heat. Says Justin. Okay. So I guess, does that mean you are back in the Miami Heat, Carl, for that one? Because if you are, oh, it's missed. It's gone quite wide for Lawson Crichton. And do let me know the odds in South Africa compared to here in New Zealand, because New Zealand, they're sitting $4.05, and even to lose by less than 9, they are paying $1.90. And if anyone else is in need for some gambling advice, Hamish is here to clear the air, says Sebastian, for that one. Yeah, I'm very good at losing money overall. I mean, I predicted the Crusaders by 21, though, and they're not a mile off that. They're just quite far off that, as they're only winning by 13. So it's 50-50, isn't it? Overall, hopefully, we do get to see some sort of comeback from the Reds, make it a little bit closer. But 2 converted tries, and they win this game, and I'm backing them. They can force a game 7 on Sunday. Oh, so if they are tied, then they don't look at like points differential or anything. They just go to like a 7th match. That pretty much tells you how much I know about NBA at this point in time. Up here, hopefully, you do end up getting yourself a win there. Now, waiting for it at the back. Te Tero to Huriarangi. Passes it back across. I believe that is big Zach Gallagher. Yeah, now running for Tom Christie. The last try scorer for the Crusaders was a little while ago. That was a yawn. Tried to hide it. Didn't work. And Golden State in 5. Says Lord there. And now going. Te Tero to Huriarangi. Passes it back across to Mighty Williams, the Man Mountain. Having another crack at the ball. I think that's turned over by the Reds. It sure is. And it's a 7-game series, the Kiwi lads, every round. That makes sense. And if you want a good bet, put your money on ABs to lose first game or last. Says Obi there as well. There you go. Worth a crack. Is that up against Ireland, or is that in their later games of the Rugby Championship? Do let me know. For some reason, all of a sudden, Sweet Caroline came on, and I really, you know when you just feel like some barbecue food and you want like a sausage and bread with tomato sauce? For some reason, Sweet Caroline came on. And now I really want a sausage and bread. Do we have sausages and bread? I don't think we do we? No, I'll probably have chips. Yeah, chips it will be. And also Reds. Oh, chips and bread, eh? And also must win 4 games in a series. Give you that, says Carl. And also Reds will lose by 20 or less. Says Earl, nice run forward from the Reds, playing the ball on the ground. You're not allowed to do that. And that will now be the penalty against the Reds. And it is called as, unfortunately, you're going to be up on your feet. I've won a bit of money on ABs losing it, usually 1 or 2 games a season, says Obi there. But that's the thing, with the like odds being as, I guess you could say, as far in their favour, it does mean that they only need to lose like the 1 or 2, and then you are in the winning margin. Kick downfield. Hasn't found touch. And now 5 minutes left. Nice link up here. Now in the number 23 jersey, I believe it is Matt Greeley. Out there now on the halfway line, passing it back here. Angus Blythe. That's going to be a forward pass. Luckily for him, though, he did hang on to it. Very nicely done. Felipe Dalgunu tries to go around the side, dodging a few tackles, but he's wrestled down by Ricky Jackson. Might end up getting penalised for not rolling away here. If he's not careful, no, he's done well. Now, Kalani Thomas passes it back across. So Tate McDermott currently not on the ball, or not on the field, I should say. Nice body position from the Crusaders. Unable to get it, though. It looks like Felipe Dalgunu currently stretching out some cramp in the leg. Now, wide cut-out pass. Nicely done to Harry Wilson. Does the chip and chase. And the big man doesn't quite get the bounce that he was after. And it's taken nicely by Braden. You know, I'll be betting on Miami. Just a small bit, though, Havish. Sweet Caroline makes you think of sausages. Quick question, what's wrong with you? Says Sebastian, for some reason, it's not so much that song. I think it was because I smelt like a barbecue. I don't know why. Has anyone cooked any food recently? 3 hours ago. For some reason, I just thought of like a Bunnings sausage sizzle. For some weird reason. Marietta Little Lamb, she fit castor oil every time it jumped the fence and fertilized the soil. Says just there, and also we have got there. Not too long now, Crusaders about to seal the deal with round 2 coming up against the same opposition next week in the quarterfinals. And one more try, Crusaders, says Clayton. We have 4 minutes left. All we've got between these two sides. But the good news is, like you mentioned, We have got about 20, or not 20, sorry, we've got another 80 minutes between these two sides coming next week. And just say you're hungry, mate, don't beat around the bush, says Fashion, for that one. I could eat. You know, I might have a snack or something. We've got a few more videos that we are going to be doing tonight, so I'll probably be up till like 3, so I have to kind of work out when my tea time is going to be. Might be after this game, though. I quite enjoy those miniature breakfast sausages. You know, the ones that are pork. They're all right. Sure as hell as the advertisement goes. Imagine if we got a sponsorship for sausages. I feel like that would be a very interesting one. Because, for one, we'd have to show the sausages, and they'd be either cooked or raw, which would be interesting on a live stream. I love washing down a chip sandwich with a milkshake, and I was like, come on, Lee makes me think about yogurt. Cheeky. And now, currently 35 metres out. Looks like Angus Blythe might have this ball, but it's not really happening for them. It looks like it's going to be relatively stuck in there. It's now stolen by Finley Brewis, and also who's man of the match, says Lord. I would say for me, Fergus Burke has been really good in this matchup. Same with probably Will Jordan's up there, but he gets it all the time. So I'll give it to Fergus Burke, almost intercepted by Harry Wilson. Is unable to take it, and now it is going to be the big man at number 20. Getting a run there. In fact, he's 22, Che Fiaki for that one. And also instant noodles and toast, Sammy with butter. Instant noodles and toast, Sammy with butter. Interesting. I don't think I've ever tried that. You ever used the 2-minute noodles mixture as soup after having the noodles? I know that people at school used to do that. They'd just be like, right, well, the noodles part is gone, so I might as well have some soup with some bread. Seemed like a good idea at the time. My mum was looking at me very weirdly. It wasn't me.
I can't imagine it being you.
No. I was like, instant noodles on toast, says Gareth with the question mark. Well, I guess it's a weird one because at the end of the day, you do have soup on toast. No, you don't. Well, you have soup with toast. You have spaghetti on toast. So maybe it's not that different. And also ramen noodles and soup, says Carl Peterson there. And also that reminds me of university budgetary diets. Relatable, says Sammy Souza there. Now waiting for it at the back. It is going to be in the hands of Triple T with 2 minutes left. Now flinging it across to David Havili. He's going to get tackled 20 metres out from the line. Triple T once again goes back to Blackadder. Bumps off the tackle of Filippo Dalguna. It's an noodles, fresh bread, fresh butter sandwich. And then very disappointing display from the Crusaders after George Bridge came on. Says Mark Blue. And also we get the spaghetti, not a soup. And there as well, says Dale. And then also we go there, Gareth. I went to boarding school and also, we used to make instant noodles in a cup so we could cup a snack. Or it was like cup of snack and spaghetti with bread. Oh, no, you didn't. No, not bread. You got to have it with toast, I believe. But not as in the canned spaghetti, if you know what that is. Like the watty spaghetti, like the one that you heat up in a fry pan for a minute. And then it's ready. And I'll put it on the bar or put the barbecue on, cook them sausages for you, buddy. Thank you, mate. Are you in New Zealand or Australia? Because it might be quite an expensive trip, but it might be worth it if we are having a barbecue. Right, potential obstruction here, but the Crusaders may have scored it again. A hamburger spag bowl. And as I remember, lots of noodle soups. And as I mean too, they never did that. I'm going to try. And Carl vomits. And says Dale would also take here, Paddy. And there, he's taken a player out there, Braden in also. Because of it, I think it is going to be potential obstruction there. And Will Jordan is not going to have the try scored by Tataroa Tuhuriarangi down the wing. And also we're going to take you, Paddy. And also I'm off here. We're going to see you tomorrow. In it there as well, says Paddy. He was in touch for that one. So other than those little obscenities, I guess you could call them. Actually, now that I think about it, if the Reds, no, never mind. I was going to say, if the Reds get themselves a bonus point, do they up themselves a little bit more? But no, they do not. They are too far back. And also lots of South Africans here. Anyone fancies a bright eye? And there as well. And also took the Reds here, says Robert. Well, they won a happy birthday for yesterday, Robert, as well. Hope you did have an exciting day. You would have gotten to see a bit of rugby league. 3 games tonight as well, I believe. Hopefully you are enjoying them, and also Super Rugby. Right, the try is overruled. Now we are 28 points to 15. There is currently 40 seconds left. For me, the Reds, Okay. Justin Marshall was chatting. Okay, he's saying that the Reds actually will gain the most from it. And also Crusaders. And I'm heading to the butcher for some burros and chops for dinner tonight. So I'll book a flight for South Africa. And I'll get there in like a day. And we'll go. And also, sorry, when you come to Oz, we'll cook up a mean-as Aussie barbecue for you. And as well, says Nathan. Sounds very good indeed. Oh, down the short side, Richie Asiata going for it. I would have thought the Reds would consider putting this ball into touch, but it seems like they do want to continue going, and that's it, mate. And there says Mark, and also sounds lovely, Carl. What are we having, or what are you having on the side? And too early to put our eye on South Africa, bro, past 11 a.m., says Jerome. And also we have got there, GG, says Lord, and thank you, Hamish, says Robert. And there as well, but currently now sitting on the halfway line, Justin Marshall is chatting. Lol, does he ever shut up? Says Gareth there. Probably similar to me and just talks in his sleep about commentary as well. Looks like Lawson Crichton goes through short ball to Fraser McWright. The last thing the Reds want here, though, is an injury. But also the best thing that they can get is a try. That's going to be a knock-on from Harry Wilson, I believe. Nope. They've said it came off the shins. So they are going to now get a chance of having one last attack with 40 minutes left. Or that's alive, 40 metres out from the line. Now Kalani Thomas well and truly shut down, driven backwards. And now off the side, Connor Vest does drive. This is 11 phases in a row for the Reds. And I believe this is almost the most that they've had throughout this match. Crusaders have finally proven once again that they are a front runner and one of the teams to beat. I tip my hat off to them and also just meet tonight. And on the move for potato salad and North garlic rolls. Oh, do love myself some garlic bread or garlic rolls as they're called there. And also I'm going Gloria Jeans for a nice cappuccino, says Clayton. And also Gareth, not when the Crusaders are playing, says Gareth. Or says Obi, that is a knock on. That is the end of the match, ladies and gentlemen. And now these two sides will be playing off in the quarterfinals next week. So we will have to wait and see what day those are going to be taking place. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Bowl of rolls with chutney or tomato sauce. And there as well says Carl, I'm now getting very hungry. And also Reds definitely put in some good fight without being utterly blitzed. And then also we have got there the Broncos kick off soon. And there says Robert. And also thanks so much. Good night, everyone. And also now I want me some garlic bread with cheese. Says Sammy Souza. Time's Pizza Hut close. Probably a bit late on the Pizza Hut. Yeah. Closes at midnight, which means we've still got time, ladies and gentlemen. And just in time now, everyone's peckish. And Jamish and happy birthday, Jay-Z, turning 15 today. I love you, my son, says Justin there. And also, it was a real choice party show. And be safe and enjoy the day I'm off to the butcher. And also, we've got their sizzlers are a must with bread. And also, Hamish and damn it, Carl, I'm going to have to light a fire tonight after hearing that, says Gareth. And also, thank you very much, Kiwi Lads. Much appreciated. Go Crusaders, says Clayton. No worries at all. And thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back tomorrow with 3 more matches. In fact, 5 more matches. In fact, it may even be more. We're just going to keep on talking for tomorrow. We've got Fiji and Drua versus the Chiefs at 3 p.m. Then at 7:05 p.m., it is going to be the matchup taking place between the Moana Pacifica and the Brumbies. Then the game after that, 9:45, Blues versus Waratahs, followed by Western Force versus Hurricanes, followed by Leinster versus La Rochelle for the Champions Cup final. And then amongst that, we have also got 7s that we will be squeezing in as often as possible. Cheers, mate. And also Magic Maori has said, cheers for the commentary, mate. Go the Crusaders. And there as well, yeah, very nice win. And they will now end up going on to face off against the Reds next week. And cheers, lad. Oi, oi. And there for Sebastian. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.